Well,
and I just thought, like,
hello.
Oh,
Hi! Oh, hi!
oh shit!
I just pressed a button accidentally. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. So, how much of that did you hear?
Just literally that second. Welcome to Courts of Everest, our 5th edition D&D campaign.
They know we're talking about them.
Talon, welcome. We're going to play D&D tonight, but I'm Joe Traff, your Dungeon Master for this evening and most evenings. And joining me, as you've already met, my friends, Matt, Tina, Kara, Hannah, and Alona. A couple of announcements before we get started. A little abruptly. We have a social media account at Alberon RPG. You can find stuff on Instagram, like this great map that you just saw because we came in kind of abruptly.
It's so
but
beautiful.
Hard to see in on the camera. Is a lot easier to see close-up pictures. So at Alberon RPG on Instagram. We have a website, alberonrpg.com. All of the old sessions are linked on there, along with all of the one-shots. Sea of Ice, Kara's miniature campaign between the two campaigns that we've run. All of those things on alberonrpg.com. And then finally, because we didn't have Mosaic Team 5 last night, the only other announcement that I have, also, we had our new theme song during the break, I think. I don't know, because I wasn't able to hear it because I loaded it literally 5 minutes before you guys got here. That's me remembering. But in theory, you've heard that. So that's also great from Arcane Anthems. The only other announcement that I have is for music, like this Shadows of Estern music. Sirenscape is a digital tool set that you can use to add this, or something like this button just says, oh no, I don't know what this is going to play. Very dramatic music. I did this last week, I think. But those sound effects and more, Sirenscape, digital tool set that you can use to put sound into your game. All right. And with that, I'm going to start us on our recap. Now, I did not load our new theme song into Sirenscape, digital tool set that you can use to add music into your games. So this is our old theme song, also from our games. Adventurers, last we played, Billy touched a statue and received a small shock. Above deck, you all converged and received potions of water breathing, which would enable you all to spend 24 hours beneath the surf as you explored the temple of She whose tears drown the stars. Once a temple to Saloon, prior to its sinking beneath the waves. This stone structure was half sunken into the silty bottom, and covered in sea urchins, lampreys, and the floors littered with small bones of fish. You made your way through dark chambers lit dimly by moon motes that have floated to the top of the water-filled structure to rest against the ceilings. You found several rooms dedicated to constellations of the skies to the north, south, east, and west. Billy, you found that by touching the purple constellations, these small glass beads that shone with moonlight from behind opened up one of the doors that allowed you to progress on. After Ori was assaulted, and not for the last time, by a tapestry, you passed by a barred-off area before finding your way to a brine pool. You entered this dark space dominated by two rusted statues in the elevated pool. Billy, you crept forward and peered in, and beheld the greatest tapestry of all, a brine cloaker. You fought this creature and the bony remora that traveled with it. Or you missed most of your shots. And truly, when I went back and watched, one of the statistically worst performances I've ever seen. That includes your first night. That includes all of Dan's games.
I know.
That was pretty bad.
It was bad.
I didn't realize in the moment how bad.
It was really bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Worse than...
It was like...
He did not roll above a 10.
Like, generally speaking, I'm pretty, like, consistently,
and we had combat,
like never any extremes. This was just like all those pent up years of, like, generally okay luck. It was just like, boom.
After Ori missed most of his shots, Minka dropped into chalice form, the reliable chalice form. Billy, you fought toe-to-toe with the cloaker, backed up by Alina, who killed many of these fish and fought the cloaker as well. As you fought it near the back of this room, and it ended up becoming quite wounded, it fled into the darkened hallways beyond this room. You found a watertight lockbox in the brine pool, and Alina, you decided beneath the waves the perfect place to open this. You ruined a series of tarot cards that depicted Saloon in various ways. Beautiful gold leaf at one time, now a little bit soggy. A little bit of currency as well. There was a book at one point, very detailed. You have not seen a book printout for these campaigns yet, like early campaign 1. There's a lot of detail.
And we won't if I have anything to say about it.
All of that washed away into the
Strictly
waves.
in my book.
However, you continued on with Sade's urging and found your way into a place where most of the room had collapsed. And Ori, as you crept forward, really having a tough time seeing between these fallen stones, but sure that you could see something beyond. For the rest of you, you watch as the small bits of fuzzy, almost algae began to stretch out like hair,
That's what was about to happen.
reaching for Ori. And that is where we begin this evening.
I knew, I was like, there was something else after the Brian Cloaker that was really bad and ended on a cliffhanger. I don't quite remember what was coming to kill me. That's what it was.
In my defense about the lockbox, also, if you said it was airtight, Hannah definitely didn't clock that. I genuinely was like, anything that's in there that's going to be destroyed by water has already been destroyed. So now you all know that I don't listen well.
Now you all know Alina sees the future. Oh boy.
We're
So-
all really good.
All of you were doing awesome.
All the
Fantastic.
time.
All.
Okay.
All of this
guys.
was intentional. Of course.
So, Ori, where you are, there is a collapsed room almost directly in front of you, and as you get close, you can see there is this slimy algae that has a deep, almost ugly black-green color to it. But as you pass over it, behind you, it begins to shift in tone to more of a red. And like tendrils, it begins to stretch out, almost like strands of hair. Is anybody doing anything about this? Ori is not able to see this.
As the last thing that happened in last week's session was I went, Ori, no!
Yeah. Fair enough. Make a dexterity saving throw at advantage, as Alina has warned you.
I'm gonna re-roll this one. That's
How did you get it there?
it bounced and then landed like in between.
Yeah, that's very impressive.
So intentional. Hull. That was okay. It was a 3 to an 18.
Okay, all
There
right.
you go.
Plus, so 25.
25. No problem.
Bad week too.
I was like,
As you're
oh, shit.
moving, you begin to like turn. You hear Alina's voice underwater, kind of muffled. And as you turn and look through the dark water and all the silt, just barely, you can see what looks almost like the kelp from outside beginning to wrap its way around you. And you like thrust yourself away. Yeah. Like a jellyfish. With no swim speed, you don't go very far, but just far enough.
5 feet away.
It stretches out. You feel it touch and reach at the edges of your boots. And though it is thin, tiny little filaments, there is strength to them. But you pull away. No problem.
I guess seeing this now, I'm gonna take out my swords and just be ready to kind of like hack away at it if it starts to encroach anymore. You know, like cutting through hedges but underwater.
Okay, sure.
Can I just
As you do.
clarifying question?
Of course.
These algae type things, are they in the room with the statue? Or I'm remembering
They're
they're
in the collapsed hallway.
okay, so the collapsed hallway is like directly down the hall from the room where the pool was, and the statue is off to the left, right?
Correct.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
And in that statue room, there is like a little bit of like, you can see a little bit of light coming from in there. There is, now that you have moved and like tossed some of this water aside, as the silt moves and the debris from this fallen room moves, you can see like little bits of rock fall down. There is a little bit of light that's coming from in there as well.
And it was glimmering off, like I saw something glint, right?
And even more now, off the floor, there seems to be not a glint, but a glow.
Do I see it too?
Yeah.
Mage head.
The mage hand just goes out. You see like the water ripple and bubble. There's nothing there. As it reaches out, it just kind of into like the rubble. There isn't anything. There is a glow. Nothing really that it's coming from. It's coming from between the cracks of rocks and the elements of wood that have fallen. You would need to shift stuff out of the way. For what it's worth, this algae does not seem to react to your mage hand. It seems like maybe something else triggers it.
How large is the like? It's not like a gap. It's just kind of between cracks and collapsed rubble.
Yes. So like very, very badly caved in is this?
Yeah.
Okay. It's all rock.
Make a perception check. Make an investigation check. Minka, you get a little closer. Everybody watches Minka.
With this bright, glowing. It wasn't a 1, but the total is 5.
Okay. You begin to get closer, and you can see those little tendrils begin to like reach out and move, and you're reminded of that slime, and you are like, you know what? I'm gonna look from over here. It's hard to see through the silt, even with the little light from the moon mote that Alina is holding. Not a lot of detail, but you do see that there is a green glow, the same kind that comes off of like arcane sigils and things like that you've seen.
Okay, so I also am glowing because I have not dropped form yet. So
Correct.
I'll be glowing for the next 2 hours.
And actually, what I would say is, in that case, since it's not total darkness, make that at advantage. So roll that again.
Better. A 16.
Okay. So you get back and you're like, oh, look from over here. Ori steps forward, ready with these two, like, almost like machetes in the jungle, and just starts. It's unclear if this is helpful, but it does give you the confidence to step forward a little bit. And Ori kind of like swatting at this stuff.
And seeing you approaching to kind of go through it, like, focus more on keeping this at bay so that you could get your look and be like, oh.
So ching, 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 ching. You get a little closer look.
It's more like a it's starting to grow up over there.
Do you read Elvish?
Yes.
Going forward, you can see on the ground, very, very faded from time, from being underwater with the sand constantly rubbing against it, but there is still the arcane glow of writing. And it says, touch green, gain seal.
Okay, so touch green, gain seal?
Yeah.
Like
SEAL. Yeah, not like a not like there's a seal dispenser.
Yeah.
touch green.
Not that one.
Gains. Yeah.
No,
Not a sponsor.
no.
I don't know what it'd be sealing, but touch green, gain seal.
Well, some of the constellations were green.
That's true.
Oh, what
And
if
when
there's
you
a
touched
seal
all
in
the purple
box?
ones. What?
What if there's a seal in the box?
Yeah.
Billy starts making her way back to the constellation room.
Okay.
Like a seal, like
And she plans on touching the greens.
Okay. You plan on touching the greens.
Can I follow her back? And while she's doing that, I'm gonna, now that the silt in the main room has settled, I'm gonna continue to look for
No problem.
medals of Saluna.
Make an investigation check. Or, I would say, as you take a little bit of time and without Minka just like spinning circles around the room, just like excited by the stars, you probably can just kind of like find these now. They glow very brightly. And with your little moon mote, the only other source of light, when you sheath it, you can kind of just let your eyes adjust and see a little bit of like a contrast. And as you swim over there, you find that actually your lack of vision in dark places kind of helpful here.
Nice.
So you find these, and in total, there are 7.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Sorry to derail things.
No problem. So, Billy, you watch as Alina like begins to collect these little things, and you go through into these constellation rooms. In each of these rooms, you saw that there were various constellations, of which there are green ones.
You're gonna make me say the
Ori's
ones.
not convinced.
You see in the north sky the warden.
So
You
Billy's
see-
gonna touch the warden, the Dawnfang spear, and the Trinitar, because there's only 3.
Okay. So, touching all of those, for all of you who are like standing by this rubble, just kind of like waiting, is anybody doing anything else?
I'm thinking like touch green gain seal. Something is making Ori feel not good about this place more so than the dire cloak. or the blind cloak, dire cloak. I was thinking dire cloak.
Yeah.
It's me hovering behind your shoulder.
So, aside from making that known, is there anything that you want to act on with that?
I guess just like kind of at this point, it's kind of like cut the algae away, like absent-mindedly, and just like I guess keeping an eye out for anything suspicious or like indicative of what a seal would be for here, like trying to draw upon like I should have listened more in world history class.
Make a history check. If
Like
that's what
why would they be sealing? What is a seal in this place for?
that's
Like,
the,
you
that's,
seal
you got it.
things.
You got it.
You seal things away. Gaining a seal, is that a good thing? I don't know. 'Cause
All
there's-
excellent questions.
That's an 8.
With an 8, thinking back, I mean, seals, there are like royal seals. There are some nobility amongst the Magiocracy of the Rising Storm from before the Magiocracy took over, the kind of like old bloodlines. They have seals. I mean, there are some apothecaries that put seals on their bottles so you know if they're tampered with, things like that. I mean, hard to tell.
I imagine part of that 8 is just making going, well, it could be a stone seal. I guess it is underwater, so maybe a wax seal. That would keep it dry. just
And so
like
your thoughts not really,
rattling off.
it's just, yeah, it's more just because words in your
I
head.
suppose. Something just doesn't feel right about this place.
You touch those 3 constellations, and as you do, each one lights up just like before. And as you begin to look around, trying to figure out like what evil could possibly be happening, looking for any tapestry that might be lurking in the dark shadows, you hear a faint just echo through the dark, and something within this room has unlocked.
Whatever you just did something. They probably heard me.
Are you still all the way down in the collapse hallway?
Well, sound travels very well underwater, and so yeah, absolutely, you can hear it. It's faint and muffled, but you hear it.
Can I go in and I'm gonna go in and be like, Billy, did you hear? Where did that come from? The clicking. Something unlocked, and she's gonna start looking around to see.
Billy's gonna say, I think it might be back in the room with the others.
Alright, so how do we get through this collapsed bit? Can you do any
I think I could try, for sure.
otherwise I'm gonna just
How?
A very split party right now.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally can. It just might take a minute. So once you have mold earth is 5-foot cubes at a time. Just like from one spot to the other spot. So it's a very slow like
Okay. Slowly.
Probably into the statue room, because I imagine that's where the largest amount of space is in this hallway.
So to do that, yeah, you're like clearing there's like a 15-foot hallway from this like 4-way intersection, and then there's this collapsed room.
Okay.
And then if you go back 15 feet, you can go around the corner. It would be from the right going back, but from where you guys were approaching, it's to the left. That is the statue room, and you could bring it in there.
I'm just kind of like moving stuff, just trying to keep the hallway clear.
Yeah,
Just
and
like,
that room is the room where there is like falling rubble and stuff already. You saw the ship that had like collided with the ceiling in this space. And actually, you hadn't really been in this room entirely. So going there for the first time, you take this cube of like rubble just floating and swirling
I feel
around.
like I would probably be like, well, I feel bad not helping, so I grab what I can, and I'm just like
Just holding one rock.
slowly treading water behind.
So helping.
My
Sure.
rate is like a fifth of what you can do. I do like 1 foot every 5 minutes.
You carry it into this 40 by 20 room. It's dominated by a 15-foot tall statue of this goddess. Somebody had seen the statue previously and identified it, but this is Saloon. The face has been smashed in. There were at one point hands possibly holding something outstretched, but those have been broken off. Below and around the statue, there is a slightly raised stone dais, and then there is old wax attached on, and as you get closer, you can see like handles probably attached at one point, melted here. Also on the floor, there is a mosaic of melted silver pieces that have been mortared in place with now badly crumbling limestone. You see like probably close to 100 pieces of silver that have been melted in place. And then I would say there's a lot of rumble here that has fallen in from the ship that has struck it, and so you can just kind of dump it in that area, and it doesn't really change very much.
That's with the feng shui.
Make a perception check as you're in that room.
14.
14.
Sorry, a real math moment.
You look over and you like dump the rubble out, and then Ori sets down one rock.
It's a lot more. I'm trying.
As he does, some of the silt like away from these little bits of silver, and you see elements of the lime crack, and one of the bits of silver almost like pops up. But you can see with that there are a few pieces missing, very few, and perhaps that's important. You kind of begin to think about this, and you remember them talking about a seal. And as you look at this mosaic and you begin to like move away a little bit more and a little bit more, you see this is an eye, this mosaic, surrounded by 7 stars, which is Saloon Seal.
Oh.
What?
The seal, it's the floor.
What?
The floor has like the eye and like the stars, and it's the silver, but it looks parts are kind of broken and missing, probably because of ship.
So you gain
or maybe
the
it's not a
seal, but
puzzle?
the seal's there, so we gain the floor.
I mean, there's a giant seal on the floor. Maybe there's like a cool second seal in the other room, because you know the other room's kind of green and it's a touch green. So maybe there's like something in there too that relates to this. Maybe,
Medallion.
yeah. There's a lot of like weird,
But
like
why would-
puzzly stuff in here. It's very like.
Maybe the seal is a seal that you put somewhere else, and you gain entrance.
Or make an insight check. Almost on yourself.
You really left 2 really sharp people together.
Oh, that's a combined
20.
intelligence.
I genuinely thought that you guys were going to follow us.
I also saw this.
Insightful fool.
With a 20, you look down, and you hadn't seen it before. With your roll of 6 as your history, you had been like looking at it upside down. But as you turn, like go stand next to Minka, you see the eye, the stars, the Saloon Seal, and
My vantage point was just off.
with your eye for detail, you count that there are 3 pieces missing.
Alright, so we're missing some pieces. So maybe there's probably other pieces. That's one of them behind the door.
Yeah.
Alright, so I guess we'll keep digging.
Yeah.
You're doing much better at it, so good
yeah.
job.
Thank you, thank you.
I don't really know what is most useful for me to do in this situation.
Make sure I don't get eaten by algae.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Alright.
Were there any exits in the statue room?
Yes. So from the statue room, the way that you went in. Additionally, there is another.
We're looking for seals.
There is another corridor that heads off to a separate room. Although, looking at this, that room seems to be also caved in, like the hallway has collapsed. Although, thinking about this, make an insight check, Alina.
Minor illusion, a seal.
Like
Be as present as you want to be.
I was going to say, I've just been waiting for Cheshire to,
Oh, look, a
to
seal.
research.
Is that what they look like?
That's sometimes.
10.
10. With the 10, it's probably like an expansive, like, it's just more of the temple. It is heading like south, and you've explored north to east, and then a little bit to the west. So this is probably just more temple. Hard to tell.
And what side of the room is that?
The east side of the room.
Eeks.
So almost, if it wasn't for the statue being in the way, it would almost be directly opposite the entrance that you come in, or that Minka is entering, like dumping off load after load of this rubble, and Ori helps as best he can. Cheshire,
I'm
what
very
are
distracted by the seal.
Okay.
Following Ori.
So helping at disadvantage, having trouble, but no problem. The seal, Ori, and Minka begin to clear the room, and after a couple of minutes, and the 2 of you, are you returning, or what are you doing?
I was looking for what seemed to have unlocked.
with your insight check, tough to tell. When Billy says that it seems to come from like back where they were, that sounds accurate, but hard to tell. Really hard to tell.
Are you lying
Yeah.
to me?
What do you have there?
Oh, these? Oh, remember how I said that there were definitely more of those little silver tokens? So now that I went in the room and I was by myself and I could see them glowing, and now I have 7. And I think, and they're gonna fit in the grooves above the hallways, right? But we can wait until everybody's back in here. My accent is really coming and going here.
With the tides.
Yeah, and I just kind of I tuck the medallions away.
Okay, no problem.
Have to wait for everyone?
I mean, yes. What?
We could just,
Somewhere in the distance, there's a seal barking.
Oh God! Do you think Cheshire's back?
I think Cheshire's back.
We should probably go.
Yeah, in the door. Put the things in.
Come on, we got hired as a team.
Fine.
You return to the group who, at this moment, clear away part of the central element of rubble, and you can see buried in this room, which is relatively small, not a seal, but there is a chest, a much bigger version of that lockbox.
Oh, bless you.
Gesundheit. And you can see in front there is a lock that has been disengaged. That glowing green element seems to have faded away. You can still see the writing, although now whatever had engaged it, like powered off.
Alina floats up behind Ori and is like, probably don't open that just yet.
Well-
Wait until we're...
Well, we've deduced that there's probably a seal in there, and we need to...
You see right behind Ori, like a little seal just like clapping, and it's you're close enough where you can see through it a little bit. You can see like the stone is clearly an illusion. Also, the fact that it's a seal in here, there's been nothing but like,
Got a ball
and
on its nose.
yeah, there are many sea urchins down here, but no seals.
So we're gonna unlock that. Well, you unlocked it, and so now we're gonna get the seal, and then we've got to go find 2 more, and then we put them in the floor there.
All right. Sounds good. Also, I found these. Remember how I said that I found 2? And there were probably 7?
Oh, look at that! You
I
got
was right.
7.
Yeah.
All right,
So
let's-
when we're ready to put these in the things above the hallways, we can do that. Tuck, tuck, tuck.
All right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go open this, and if anything terrible happens, please try and keep my corpse alive. That came out worse than I wanted it to.
Corpse
Just
alive.
I think that's outside of.
Cheshire.
right. Well,
Okay.
This is a
just
great philosophical
just
conundrum. Let's
do what you
What
can.
is- How does
I'm
one
just
keep
gonna go.
a corpse alive?
From behind all of you, this half orc who has been traveling with you just lets out like a sigh, even through the water. There is like a distinct disappointment isn't the right word. It's a new flavor of emotion for many of you. But what was that?
I'm gonna go and try to. Well, because we've broken enough now.
Yeah, you have like the lid and everything. You imagine you could probably open it.
So kind of like wiggle my way through the stone moved
Talon
collapsed
redeemed
part.
a
absolutely.
woe
Okay.
to keep the corpse alive.
Thank you, Talon.
So no problem. Yes,
Yeah, so I'm gonna go and try to
wriggle through. You reach out.
carefully. Don't want to, don't want it to be a mimic or anything.
Make an
But
investigation check.
Assuming it's a seal.
Make an investigation check.
As Ori passes by me, Mika's gonna guidance
Very nice.
Cool.
and be like, "Good luck."
Can I utilize my eye for detail?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, okay, cool. That's again another 3, but then a 19. So, what am I doing? Investigation.
Roll the
21.
guidance.
21.
Oh, do I need the?
It only lasts for like a
Oh,
minute,
okay.
so like if you don't use it
It's a
right now,
cantrip.
All right, if I get a 4, it makes it 25. So
you never know.
I got a 3. 24.
24. That's exactly what you need. Just kidding. So you look at this box and you can see like rusted material. The box itself is not magical. The lock seems a little bit less corroded, so probably some kind of enchantment was on it. However, you can see there is like a seam that is now open between them. You had heard that click, and so you would imagine it's unlocked. And the fact that there is no longer this glowing sigil is probably a good thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say with that roll additionally, you can see there are some small cracks in it, so not watertight, this one.
Cool.
And so probably not running the risk that Alina ran in just opening the other one, the preserved one. So, but this one, you, if you want, you can open it up.
Yeah, I'm gonna like take a little peek because if it is something that's gonna be melted or otherwise dissolved or ruined in some way,
That's
I want to be able to
eaten
shut it
or
quickly, but just to like see and then open it if it's
comes
like
out
a
of
stone
you
or
just
glass.
tapestry.
Urchins
Crack
inside.
it open.
Oh, that's probably.
Within, at first you get a little nervous. There is a dark velvet cloth, but it's just a cloth. With a 19, just a cloth. Or with a 24 especially, a velvet cloth.
Oh,
Oh.
Dark velvet
I
cloth.
thought it was a tapestry.
And atop it, you can see a single silver piece, the sigil of Saloon emblazoned on it. And thinking back at that little mosaic in the room that you had just been in, there are 3 missing
Slot
pieces.
into one of those.
That would definitely fit in.
All right, there we go. All right, well, 2 more. I'll kind of pick it up and show it off. Be like, hey, we got it. Good job with the rocks.
Is there anything? Oh, sorry.
Oh no, that's it. I'm gonna start slowly swimming back.
Slow, like
There's nothing
underwater
else in
walk.
the room,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
just kind of collapsed, and then there's the
Yeah, for the most
box.
part, this is like a very, it's like a reliquary,
like
a very
that
small
was
room.
the thing to
Okay. That's great work.
All right.
Good job, everybody.
So what? As this was the green, so maybe we'll go try some of the other colors and
Well,
see.
Alina said that she got enough to open up the big door.
Right, but you don't think we need the other 2 before we go for the big
We should
door?
definitely go back and try touching the colors and
I bet
remember we passed by
this
that
one was
chest
from
behind
green.
the bars.
we'll see if there's a specific spot for this, and then we can try to figure out which of the 2 doors we need to go through to get the other 2. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Billy
Try.
begins the swim back to the constellation room.
Did
We
we?
go back to put the seal in.
Okay.
You know.
Putting the seal in. Okay.
Or
no
to
problem.
like go and look where to put the seal into the floor,
Okay.
figuring out which one.
All 3 of them seem to be the same size, and looking each piece though, like slightly,
They're all the same, like eye.
they seem to be the same. Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't really matter where. But like, of the 3 that are missing, like, is there one where we just got that one? Is there an open eye socket in like a pattern?
They're not eyes. So like each
That's
piece
right.
has the whole symbol on it.
Right.
And there is the 3 missing pieces almost form a triangle in the center in that eye sigil. And so like probably not like there's one specific one you have to put in
Right.
first.
Okay.
You just need to fit 3 of them in to
Okay, so we
complete
just
this.
need to find. So there's no indicator of like which of the other 2 constellation paths would have the 2 missing ones.
Well,
Thinking about that, make an insight check. Billy, you swim back to the constellation
Hey,
room.
21.
21. There doesn't seem to be any order to this, but thinking about order and constellations, that does ring a bell. The 21 doesn't really tell you exactly what, but you remember there being something relating to locks in that constellation room. Billy, you go back to that room. What are you doing?
At Adric's
blue
key,
ones. Yeah.
Mhm.
Key.
Cord's lock,
Yep.
Bahamut's gate. Can't read my writing. Gates
Yes.
and Emerald Eyes.
Yeah. So you touch the first one. Ding, it lights up. The second one, the third one. And as you touch the eyes of emerald, and you do this in a very specific order. This is key, lock, gates, and then the eyes. And as you touch that last one, give me 1 second here. You can hear in the very first room that you had passed, where there was all that rubble floating against bars, you hear the sound of metal grind against stone.
Yes,
You would
I know.
imagine those bars opening up.
it's very exciting. Oh, I think those were are the bars. I had in my notes to go back and check the bars. And Alina excitedly dog paddles over to where the bars are.
You go past. Everybody's just passing each other back and forth in the same like L-shaped
Billy's just
hallway.
gonna like
the,
sit,
you know,
like a
like
YMCA
Everybody walking like
swim
real
class.
far around the brine pool, and then like going up and around, and then back, and then real far
Don't
around the
forget
brine
your
pool.
floaties.
Billy's just gonna like sit down in the constellation room, just like floating.
Yeah, you can just pull your legs up and almost just like float right there. No problem.
I think at this point, Mingo would go back to the big room because they're excited to open up the big door.
Yeah, no problem. So,
In a minute.
Alina, when you go over to that room, there's just debris now that has just flown out. There are tablecloths everywhere.
Oh, God.
You see like elements of like broken, now like almost dissolving wood as it's moving freely for the first time. And then, give me 1 second here. As the debris clears out, there is like a 10 by 10 space beyond. And you can see at one time this was probably like a storage room, and this debris from dissolved boxes that contain linens. You see like a couple still intact candles floating around. Those 3-inch thick steel bars have raised up into spaces that are recessed in the ceiling. And you can see there is, between the wispy kind of seaweed that chokes out most of the visuals, there is a faint glow that comes from what looks like similar to the chest that you've seen, although this one has a very faint glow, and you recognize it's not the chest itself, but from the seams of the chest, there is moonlight that spills forth, almost matching the moat that you hold.
Neat. Can I grab the chest? Is
Yeah.
it small enough to hold?
Yeah, it's heavy, and so picking it up, definitely heavy. As you move it, the lid kind of like opens and closes a little bit. It's unlocked. And as it doesn't suddenly suck water in, you're not ruining whatever's in it by opening, for what it's worth.
Even so, I'm gonna drag it out and just call Ori over and be like, you open it. I've done enough damage.
Okay.
It's already open.
You open it up and moonlight like washes across Ori's face. And set into this box, there is a beautiful circlet. It's a headband of delicate silver mesh, and set within it there are 7 moonstones. Each one exhibits asterism in brilliant luminous moonlight white. So looking at it, as the mote of moonlight that Alina is holding hits it, each one looks like it has almost an asterisk of white that splashes across it. This is like a very specific kind of gem. This is certainly magical, and as you touch it or not touch it, but as you like look at it, it shimmers, and there is this glow that is beyond just moonlight, magic in nature. You pick it up, and it's in your hand. What are you doing?
What?
Is that a seal?
I don't think it's gonna fit in the floor.
Are you a pretty
Ori
person?
looks a little prettier than he did before, and you would imagine this is something that probably you would need to attune to, but certainly magical.
But it's glowing, right?
Yes, and it sheds only about 5 feet of light. It's not super bright, but it does shed a little bit of moonlight.
Anyone know what kind of magic this is?
I'll just hold on to that for you.
No.
Can I
You
look at
got
it and
to
see what I can
give me
divine?
back
Make an
my
Arcana check.
Roughly.
The flute that you took from me. I'm not giving you anything.
16?
With a 16,
Safekeeping is in my pockets.
Around Cheshire? I don't know.
you've heard a little bit about magical items that use gems almost as what might be considered charges. And so you would imagine whatever this is has 7 of them. Outside of that, this isn't like anything you've really seen before. Obviously, you're in this goddess, this temple to the goddess. What are you looking at over there? Oh no! Oh god!
Oh.
I'm disappointed at myself for not thinking about this.
Representation.
This is cosplay. And so, you look around at this beautiful temple, or once beautiful temple, and so this definitely, like a relic from this place. But you've never really seen anything like this before.
Give me back my flute.
All right, then.
So no one
good?
knows what this is?
No, I mean, 7 stars, 7 or moonstones or whatever, 7 charges probably, but probably gonna have to just cuddle it the next time we rest. What, you don't cuddle your magic items?
You wear your beautiful, like
He's
very
distracted
delicate
with that.
chainmail
I want the
circlet.
little silver piece that he has.
Okay.
I'm very on guard.
Yeah,
for
I would say.
pressure shit.
I would say without like. Make a sleight of hand check at disadvantage, and I would say you can contest it. I would say use your eye for detail.
Oh. How I?
Make a perception check.
Oh, okay.
And this is really just if you notice this happening.
Okay.
It's a 15.
The Dex, what was it? A Dex save?
No, this is a perception check.
But okay. So I rolled one thing. The perception.
Okay.
The
You'll have
whatever
to
the
roll something
save.
else.
The contested.
Don't worry about that.
Oh, okay.
This is a perception check.
Okay. Cool. That one's gonna be a 15.
Okay. So you see Cheshire take the silver piece right out of your hand.
Hey.
And in that moment, you kind of slap it up and it drifts up in the water. It drifts between the two of you. Both of you make dexterity saving throws, please.
I don't like that.
It's 25.
Too much happiness.
You reach out, Lori, and you grab it. And the illusion of this piece fades, and you've just had it in your hand the whole time, Cheshire. No problem.
Was that the seal?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
So
We're
no
gonna
problem.
need that. It belongs. Okay.
Safekeeping.
All right. Well, then give me back my flute.
I tell you what. I'll trade
No.
you this.
Are we gonna open the door? I kind of want to know what's on the other side.
Yes, yes,
Sure,
the door.
sure.
I need 2 more. 2 more.
Yeah, but
No,
where else
the-
are we gonna go?
The these things, and Alina has lost her words, and she's just gonna go put the things in the group.
You put one in, and this beautiful door, you can see one of those stars begin to glow. You put the next seal in, one of the other stars begins to glow. And when you put the 7th one in, and that final star lights, it's like all of them trace this golden energy into the eye, and the eye opens. It's almost like an illusion in the stone, because after it opens, it just looks the same. These magical sparks underwater seem to just drift out and extinguish, and then the door begins to slide open. You can hear the sound of metal grind up. And Ori, make a dexterity saving throw. Thank you, Talon, for the woe.
Is it a tapestry?
Damn. 13?
Right around your face. This Ori, the worst tapestry yet. This is old, it's clearly waterlogged, it's kind of stiff and leathery. For the rest of you, you watch as what appears to be like old, covered in algae and barnacles, but clearly with the hair and fingers recognizable, humanoid skin, pretty much an entire body's worth, and you see like empty an arm. You can see still attached areas where veins at one point were there, but now no longer, just empty skin. And you see Ori just trying to like shake this off.
So this appears to be like one person's worth of
As Ori like
body.
stupid tapestry, it like floats across a little bit, and you see empty eye sockets. You see an empty nose.
He just turns around and look at us and see like our.
Exactly one human's worth of skin.
And then I look. Do I see the human skin?
You look and you see like their back. You see like where at one point there was like a tattoo. Yeah, like
Is it clothed?
no.
Is it all like
That was the
connected?
part that mattered. Yes. And so from what you make a medicine check. Certainly it's all connected.
Seated by one skin bag.
A natural one.
Natural one.
Oh no. I hate
A
this.
total of 5.
You can't even really look at it.
Yeah.
As soon as you see like this face move and the mouth opens up and it's like split down the chin, you just like avert your eyes. You can't really look at that. And Ori's like, you what? Ori's like hand goes through the eyes at one point as he's like battering it off. It's pretty awful, and so
Oh god. Oh my god.
hard to tell.
Oh my god, it's so gross.
Oh, I told you this place was worse.
Probably one piece.
Oh, okay. Why is that in there? Why was that in there? What is in there?
I told you that this place is.
Additionally,
there's bad stuff
After that woe, and the skin begins to drift down to the ground, you do see floating out, almost as if clutched within its hand at one point, another little silver piece, and you can see Saloon's seal on this as well.
Grossest mage hand ever.
Your mage hand almost is and it's you have
And I
to be
try to
come on,
beat
come
Cheshire
on.
to it.
No hesitation, mine first.
So I would say for this is make dexterity saving throws, just easier that way.
Then have a drink.
16.
24.
This mage hand is so fast. This is the practice skill of as soon as money appears, it just disappears off the table, such that for a moment you're not sure if you're looking at another illusion or not, and then more of the debris and the silt falls in, and hard to tell if there even was a little silver piece there.
Okay then, hold on to that one.
You can add another of Saloon seals to your inventory.
If
Cheshire.
anyone has something that they would like to share with me to drink, I'd be most appreciative.
Open your mouth.
I would rather not until I saw the beverage.
You are in water.
But now it tastes like that guy.
Oh, it's only gonna get worse.
20 feet further ahead, you see another thick, heavy door, a bluish metal. There is rust on this as well, barnacles. There are sea urchins all pressed up against it, stacked almost 3 feet high, like a mound across. You do see on the floor, kind of amongst these sea urchins, humanoid bones, probably belonging to this individual. Interestingly, there's no skull, for what it's worth. This door, similar kind of sigil of Saloon, however, 5 of these eyes currently glowing. And so you imagine this probably relating to those sigils of Saloon.
I don't like this anymore. This stopped being fun at the third tapestry.
So the door with the 5 things lit up is across the room from the door that we just came in. So
Yeah.
to the south.
So it's one door opened up, and then this is the inner door of this hallway. The sanctum, this thing that Sade is looking for, probably what lies beyond this. This is very ornate. And as you look at this is an exotic metal that you haven't really seen before. There's a bluish cast to the steel. And then you recognize as parts of it are rusting. It's not all this material. So probably coated at one point and parts have fallen away. And so the bluish part, the part that doesn't rust, for what it's worth.
So looking at the 5 bits that are lit up, do they look like the ones that I just used?
Yeah, very similar. This door, a little different in terms of its construction, but almost exactly the same. And so following that, when you put them in, those eyes lit up, and so it looks like most of this is in place. It's looking for 3 pieces.
Okay.
Cheshire probably has at least one. You know that. And then, Ori, you know that Cheshire has one. You are not aware that Cheshire has the second one. So most people are aware that Cheshire has 1 piece.
I thought those fit in the...
I think at this point,
Floor.
Ori
The
just
floor,
assumes
yeah.
that Cheshire
They seem
has
like they do, but you
more
haven't put them in
than
yet.
I know that Cheshire has.
Have the constellations on the pillars changed colors at all, or are they
No,
still
just
the same
there's
color?
the 2 that you have activated are glowing. There is one, aside from the regular kind of pieces of sea glass, that glows a little bit blue, and those are the only ones that you haven't activated. Or no, you have activated those. Sorry, it
Yeah.
was
I activated the purple, green, and the blue.
yeah. So you've activated all of them. They stay glowing.
So just to confirm, so we've now seen 2 places where it looks like these seals that Cheshire has would fit.
No, so this seems to be the indicator from when they're put in the floor.
Oh,
These
okay.
are probably
I gotcha.
light up.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Okay then.
The seal is the gas. This is the gas light. Yeah.
Thank you for that. All right then. So we've got 1. You had a second one, right? So we need to find a third.
You got.
Oh,
two.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you got 2. You got 3.
Start juggling them and illusion a third one.
Oh, great. So we're all set.
No. Bad at the illusion.
Just snaps them up. Hard to tell.
Now 4.
Should we... Okay, so in the room where the statue was, there was another area that maybe we could try clearing. Perhaps there's something there?
Is anyone else concerned about the sheer amount of urchins on that door?
Oh,
There's
Yeah,
a-
I wouldn't touch him.
oh,
I'm getting really bad. This whole thing seems
well,
like
yeah,
it's
but
gonna
we
be
didn't
awful.
kill the thing, so it's probably got a layer. That could be it, or it could be something worse. As I said
Very
previously.
optimistic.
Well, I just had a dead guy float into my mouth, so.
Sade at this point, this orc, who's remained largely silent, although like steadily becoming, at first, very impressed by Minka doing like all the clearing work and then you helping redeeming yourself somewhat, but now becoming a little bit more impatient. She is going to say, "This is what I would be most concerned about." And she gestures to the skin that is like now floating further and further into the sort of open space.
Yeah, but with all the urchins around it, I think the urchins are the ones that caused it.
Can I, watching this thing floating and now having like gotten somewhat over the fact that it floated,
Become one.
bits floated into
Just like
me.
wear it off.
I'd like to see. Is there any indication of what could have killed this
Make a medicine check.
person, or could I narrow it down to if it was the I was gonna say dire cloak again.
The brine.
Yeah, the brine cloaker. But yeah.
Make a medicine check.
We just take the skin and make creepy armor.
Oh hey, that's not
I mean, leather is skin.
Minka's trauma changed her like really quickly.
Was that
Yeah, right.
18.
18? Okay. With an 18, you kind of swallow back a little bit of vomit, and remembering your old friend, you walk over and looking at it, very, very cleanly cut. Certainly not the brine cloaker. You look at yourself, you look at some of your companions. The teeth on that creature, not quite lamprey-like, but like needle-like.
Yeah.
This looks
Slices.
surgical. And it's largely one cut. You see the arms fully intact. They're like sleeves. It's just right from about this lip all the way down to the
Almost
groin.
like being flayed.
Very much like being flayed. Although this, looking at like the edges of the skin, there's no sign of like connectivity tissue. It's like somebody cut this body open and then just yanked everything out in one pull.
So this kind of tracks with like we've seen all these like urchin husks that we would expect to see like a little fleshy body
Yeah.
in, but there's none. Something's just eating up flesh.
Have I heard of or encountered anything that would have done this sort of prey killing? Like,
Make a history check. It's a real high DC.
does it get my?
No. Not related to the Feywild.
Does it get not
That's
no.
checklist.
You know what?
Flow chart.
Yeah, it actually would.
Yay!
Hooray!
I hate that, but I thought about it.
It doesn't
I realized,
change it.
yeah.
It's still 16.
16. I mean, this to you registers humanoid. Like, this is intelligent, whatever did this. Aside from that, not much.
How does it seem like the skin is like? Well, I guess it would have been relatively preserved underwater, but can I estimate how
With
long
that
it's been?
check, I would say
Salty.
Like,
hard to tell. You saw in the brine pool, in that pool, there were like fish and stuff, skin, scales, everything. Eyes still intact. So hard to tell. With that check, I would say anywhere from probably longer than that.
okay, longer than that. It's been a while since this happened, but whatever did it's probably more intelligent and more dangerous.
More intelligent
Then the brine cloak.
than you?
With this, Billy's gonna head towards the statue room with and kind of like gesture Minka along, like, let's go.
Yeah, I don't
do
want to.
something.
Is there anything else in this? Like, what else is in this
than
room?
all of us.
Like anything on the floor, on the.
This is
walls,
more
on
of
the
a
ceiling?
corridor.
Oh,
And it is like 10 feet by 20 feet, give or take, but it is very much looks like a transition between that first main door and the second door.
I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what you know.
As we go through the Brand Cloaker's room,
Yep.
Minka's gonna look to see if the other ornate door in that room opened as well.
Certainly did. And as you look around, there is no skin floating out of this
Oh,
one.
thank God.
There are little fish bones like you've seen everywhere. There are sea urchins and some debris has filtered in. And you see a similar kind of bluish secondary door beyond.
Okay, so it looks like this definitely goes into that same room because it's the same door. So at least we don't have to go all the way around, and hopefully we don't have to see that thing again.
Is there anything in the? I follow them. Is there anything in the corridor like we found a seal in that first corridor? So is there anything cool in this one?
Make an investigation check.
Unlikely. 8.
You float in. There's a lot of little sea urchins everywhere. There's a heavier amount of sediment here. And so not a lot of the floor visible. It's hard to really pick things out. And as these urchins move around, you don't really want to touch them. Not much to find.
I'll just keep following Minka and
No
Billy.
problem. So Minka, where are you going?
Back to the statue room,
Okay.
and then there was a door on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So she's gonna look through there. and see-
So that's the space that Alina had gone and looked at, and a lot of like crumbled in area, like the ceiling has kind of come down.
Yeah.
However, there are places that there are cracks. It would be hard for most of you to get through. If you were all much thinner or maybe more pliable, you could probably wriggle through.
Why would you say it like that?
Can I see through?
But Minka's also a druid, so
That's true. Can I see like beyond where the rubble is to like a space
make a perception
where
check.
a person could be?
You get close, you bring your little bit of moon, you like pull the string all the way down, and you look close.
9.
A 9. Certainly there is space beyond. It looks like maybe a hallway or something like that. You can see like there's areas that open up, and with the rubble and everything, it's hard to tell what is like a passageway and what is just fallen stone. And your light casts shadows that make it really hard to see beyond just the first layer of rubble. Hard to see.
Could we estimate if I was to mold Earth again, like roughly how long it would take to make a passable channel?
Maybe like 20, 30 minutes. It's hard to tell because again, looking up, it's hard to tell if this is like stable and just like rubble that's accumulated or if it's truly like collapsing it.
Okay. So, I guess we could get through, but I can't guarantee there's anything I could be able to do from the other side. And if I do that, that's kind of it until we rest for a while. So, do you want me to try to go through?
We don't have a while. I mean, can you do that? Can you go through?
Well, I've seen all like the weird little eel dudes.
Yeah.
Could probably do one of those.
Billy's gonna
Wiggle on through.
pull out her pan flute and kind of play a little tune and cast Unseen Servant.
Okay. Suddenly the water just displaces and there is like it although it is unseen, it does have a space, and so there is like a very odd looking like air bubble, amorphous and kind of like there are kind of
that
shoulders
episode
on
of
it.
SpongeBob.
I have never seen a full episode of SpongeBob.
It's like a bubble
I
buddy.
only have seen memes, but I feel like I've seen all of
That's
SpongeBob.
it. It's a bubble buddy.
I also haven't
Not
seen
a- not a
SpongeBob, but
sponsor.
yes.
This makes no sense to me, but
Just imagine
Vincent
a
is
bubble
chortling at home, I'm sure.
So you have your unseen servant.
And Billy's gonna command it to go through the rubble to the other side.
Okay. You see it kind of into a whole bunch of bubbles as it disappears through.
Would I be able to tell it to like pick up the seal?
Yeah, you could tell it that.
Pick up a seal.
You get the sense that there is no real response, and that generally means that it's unable to complete that action.
Cool. Well, if it's in there, I can't get to it for some reason.
Is there like a... I mean, we found a seal inside a chest. Maybe there's a chest.
Bump the chest.
You feel the unseen servant drift off.
Right, so, how do you suggest we do that?
I guess Minka
Shade
could-
is going to turn to you, Minka, and just go, if you can go in, do. We need more information.
Okay. I don't really do this very often, but let's
That's
give it a go.
okay, you'll do fine.
So the light suddenly disappears, and Minka's gonna attempt to take the form of the lamprey eel.
Yeah, no problem.
Nice.
You've seen a couple of these, and your lamprey eel, for what it's worth, you become much smaller, only about 2 feet long, but like this pale blue, and still just faint light. The speckles that you see on the other eels, just like little stars almost, but very, very dim. Not enough to like shed light, just flavor light. But you, if you want, can just,
It's
and
like
for what it's worth too,
glow under your
you feel
collar
in your
when you get
mouth,
those little LED
it's like
things.
rings of teeth. Like, it's a very alien feeling. This is unlike other creatures that you've seen. Your vision changes a little bit as well, and so
So like, can I see?
you can see quite well, but it is grayscale. And as you move around, it's kind of hard, and you're not quite sure how to move. And as you tap against the side, suddenly it's like you're able to see much better. And you imagine, you remember before you'd seen those just like stop and drift and tap something and then wriggle off. Perhaps some kind of tremor sense.
Okay, so
Alright,
Minka's just gonna wiggle around really awkwardly and probably like rotate and kind of like trying to orient until she bumps into the wall of rubble and then sees it and then goes through.
And when you see it, this kind of sonar that goes out, it's just rubble and fallen bits. And then maybe like 15 feet beyond, there's an area where there is a very clear opening in the ceiling.
Okay. So she's gonna kind of go into the room and see if she can get a better sense of. So is it basically like a chamber and then up? See if there's like other doors. Is there like a chest or something?
It's a chamber.
Yeah.
It's about 20 feet long, although largely filled with rubble. And you see at one point, perhaps a fire burned here. There's like kind of elements of char on the ground. Hard to really see exactly what was there at one point, but looking up, again, this kind of gap. Your little eel form looks up and kind of like tap against the rubble, and it goes up and at least like 15 feet up, and then immediately like a 90-degree turn and moves. It's like a very small hallway almost.
She's gonna kind of like,
She's got it.
after seeing that, and be like, so the up, would it be like a ceiling or more like another chamber?
It's a ceiling, but up through this space, it looks like it goes up very, very narrow, maybe like 3 feet wide. Make an insight check.
Eel sight.
Eel sight.
I hope you are insight field.
I'm imagining like an air duct.
I lamp
Yeah.
pray for you.
What was that?
It's 11.
Alina, you might imagine that, but Minka certainly does not. Though you do see elements of a fire and a clear opening chamber above. It could be many things, and with the kind of broken elements and with your eel sight not being the best, hard to really tell what this was. But it does open up and goes up into what the ceiling is, and then seems to go out like a tunnel, perhaps to somewhere else, and orienting yourself. Although in your eel mind, you find creating a 3D image hard to do. If everything else that you've observed follows true, this will lead to that inner area that those two doors seal off.
Okay. So I'm gonna take a second to think about it and go, I gotta go by myself and get information. The captain seemed pretty mad. She wanted information. We're gonna go. We're gonna cautiously go.
Okay. Make a stealth check. Your stealth modifier is +1.
Because you're
Oh, I don't have a thing where I can cast in.
in lamprey form.
I don't think I
Low
have that.
level.
I don't have that yet.
Level 4.
Then you're a lamp.
Ah,
11.
An 11. Okay. With an 11, you begin to move, and unfortunately, your sight requires that you tap into things. So you stealthily bump your way down this hallway. But stealthily. It's about this moment that you recognize your unseen servant vanishes, disappears, dispelled. You wriggle along, you go up 15 feet, and then tap, and you can see 30 feet beyond, or sorry, give me 1 second here, let me count. 25 feet beyond, it opens up into a large chamber. You sense huge ropes of kelp that rise from floor to ceiling. You get a little closer, bump, and out into the space. Stone room. There are rusted sculptures beyond, but from the space that you enter in, you can sense, like, with that bump, there's a doorway beneath you. This is probably what connects to the brine cloaker room. Aside from that, sort of difficult to make out too much without getting in.
Okay.
You look around for this unseen servant, this kind of bubble in the space. You don't see it. Make a perception check. Or you just did, right?
My last perception.
Stealth. That was a stealth check.
That
that you
was
just did.
stealth,
Yeah, make a perception check.
Oh, with my wisdom?
No.
I'm gonna guess now.
That's a -2.
A 16.
A 16. That's still pretty good.
I rolled very well.
Give me 1 second.
Job,
here.
So change your sense, eel.
In this moment, you whack against pretty hard to get like a better view of everything. You take like 0.1 damage, but as it ripples out and you can see the seaweed in the floor and metal benches that are rusted and like all kind of debris, anything wood like floating up and broken against the ceiling at this point. Amongst that, and there are many in this space. There's kelp that rises up. There are tapestries at one point that hung, now like ripped, so all over the place tapestries. That unnerves you a little bit. And then one of them twitches. And you can see in the pale, sort of like gray sense scale, this wounded creature lurking up amongst these torn tapestries, debris, kelp. And you can almost swear that there might be other movement beyond, but you can't quite see.
Okay, that's it. As adventurous as Minka's feeling, she's going back to the other room. And also now at this point, she hasn't seen anything that would be like a seal, right? No like little dollop, no chest.
Nothing like that.
All right.
This seems to be just like a shaft.
Yeah, all right. So she's gonna go back to the debris room
Okay.
and then try to figure out which one was the one she came through originally, and then go back out.
Okay. No problem. You do that. For the rest of you, you wait for Minka for a little bit. Are you doing anything in this time?
I wonder what it's like to be a lamprey.
Alina, I guess, is convinced still that there's more shiny things in the silt. She's
Yeah.
still riding the high of having found them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Alina's just gonna continue to kind of like look around
And a lot of
And,
sea
like-
glass.
on like the floor of the little corridors, and just kind of now that she knows what she's looking for, see if she can find a
Sure.
seal.
You begin to like look around for a seal. You don't find any. You do, in the statue room, find approximately 107 of them on the floor, already pressed into place. There are, for what it is worth, 5 of them in the center that form that central eye that are pressed in, and 3 that are missing that form almost a triangle. And so that really tracks with the door that you saw. Alina yes.
5 are in the floor, and 3.
Sorry, 4. I did bad math.
4 on the
Bad at
floor.
math,
I was
guys.
like,
Bad at math. Bad at math.
an extra one.
Bad at math. It's not that there's an extra. I'm just bad at math. I'm synesthesia.
We got spare. So, we got
Billy.
a couple hours. at
Billy's
least.
gonna head back to the brine pool
Okay.
and look and see if there's anything hiding out in there that we missed.
You look in, and no real seal in there that you can find. But Minka, you return. How long are you keeping your eel form up? You just drop it?
I can have it for another hour, but I can't like communicate in it.
Yeah.
So she's gonna come through and gonna be like, gonna try to interpretive dance communicate that there's danger in the other.
Everybody make an insight check.
Yay!
Minka, make a performance check. This is a -2.
She's trying to tell us something.
What is it, girls?
Insight, you said?
Yeah.
Yikes.
What was that?
A 9?
A 9? Okay.
18.
Okay.
15.
Okay.
21.
13. So you watch as eel form Minka begins to like wriggle, and like it's a very purposeful wriggle, and then stops. And so you're like, okay, it's almost like that was like a clearing of the throat. And then Minka like begins to make a motion, but you're kind of drifting close to the ceiling, and you just slam your head into the ceiling. You see everything so clearly. Minka just goes like still. And somehow, Billy, even with all of that, as Eel Minka goes stick straight and like drifts, you see in nature, and actually
She's
even for
pointing in a
you,
direction.
even for you, when you get your hackles up and you shift into those more purple tones and strike out at people that have hurt you, there is an element of stiffness to that, and so maybe fear. Is there danger, Minka? You begin to get the sense that perhaps Minka is warning you that there is danger beyond. And then Minka starts wriggling around again. And for the rest of you, kind of hard to tell what Minka's doing.
Oh, I think there's some bad stuff in there.
Is she okay?
Minka does just a slow circle.
Yeah, I think she's fine.
Okay. Well,
I think as with Eel, Minka's gonna go back into the brine clipper room to start tapping.
Okay.
And just start to like see if there's like a hidden passage or something, because the cloaker got in there. The doors are sealed.
You tap. And as you do this little tap and this echo goes out, there is, on the western side, where it just looks like plain wall, an area that seems to have a passageway beyond. This passageway beyond, along the floor and everything, there is no urchins, there's no debris. This seems to be more of like a preserved area. With your like whap, your eel sight, it's about 15 feet, and then a chamber that opens up 15 feet wide by 10 feet. Just like a small chamber, the exact same size as the one that you found that other seal chest within.
Okay. So is she gonna go to that wall and just start interpretive dancing again right outside the wall?
So with a 9, you watch as Minka just goes up to it and just whap.
Oh, there's something there.
I mean, right?
And so you go over and tracing your fingers around, you do feel there are gaps in the stones here where there is limestone amongst all the rest. There is very clearly space intentionally left here.
Oh, shit.
What?
There's a door of some kind here, and I'm pretty sure I hit all the constellations with the colors, which means there's another constellation puzzle to get this thing open, and it has to do with constellation names. I'm not good at that.
Oh, can we just smash it?
As Minka is whap, whap into the stone, going a little higher each time. Minka, you've lost like 70% of 1 hit point at this point. No, like 49 because we round down.
Yeah.
You just whap, whap, whap against it. You get higher and higher and higher, and then you just whap against the stone. And Billy, as you're like constellation names, you hear like a little. And I rolled a D100 and I rolled a 95.
Yes.
Minka happens to have tapped this central stone that looks like sort of a secret button.
Yay.
I was rooting for that.
And
but
everyone
literally,
gets sucked into the room.
yeah. No, nobody gets sucked into the room. It's just you tap it. It doesn't quite depress the button enough to open, but you hear the stone shift and looking up. At first, maybe displaced stone, but as you look at it, certainly like it has a springy
I must
action to it.
say,
It's a button.
you are being so useful.
Yeah, really.
Billy says, Billy blows
Most
up.
vital member of the team.
I don't know if like someone can grab Minka, but the rest of us should probably hold on to something. And Billy like steals
I
herself
think there's gonna depressurize.
and presses the button.
Oh wait!
You press the button or boom, you know. The water does flow very quickly and fills. At one point, what was it like a you're like fire hose
Ducking
down.
and rolling, yeah.
Make a dexterity saving throw. Actually, that's,
I'm just trying to protect my vitals because I didn't have enough time to
Damn.
do anything.
I guess then do we all need to make a text?
no. I would say you don't. You have a swim speed right now.
Sweet.
Who grabbed Minka?
I did not have time to.
Nobody grabbed Minka. Everybody else make a saving throw.
Oh, man.
Dex?
Yes.
This is the fourth 7 in
shit.
a row that I've rolled. Total of 9.
Okay. Rough.
18.
18. Okay.
21.
Excellent.
I'm like
7.
Okay. Warlock.
trying to grab onto something, but
Makes
to
sense,
kind
I
of
was
duck
throwing
and
it over the
flow
door.
into the current to let it take me safely, rather than like a fucking burst of.
This is not a current. This is a previously airtight space that is suddenly no longer airtight, and all of the ocean rushing to fill
Right,
it.
so I'm trying to like ride that wave.
You move to the side and are slammed into the wall in such a way that you don't have enough time to generate momentum. For the two of you, you're not so lucky. You are propelled up against the end of the wall and slammed with an ocean's worth of force. You take 20 points of bludgeoning damage.
20. That's so many.
Yeah. So the only reason that it's so few is because fall damage scales in a dumb way.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So in my opinion, that's very fortunate.
I would almost be dead.
As you see stars, you like float in this place end over end.
Bingo.
Your moonboat like drifts up and like amongst the ceiling. You have to grab the string and pull it back down. You see two of them, and then they join back together as your vision clears. But there is a chest in this space. You can see there is Elvish that is unilluminated. You can read that. Well, you're an eel. I would say you can still read Elvish, but for those of you who can read Elvish, it says "touch blue, gain seal," but unilluminated, and that lock does seem open.
Alright.
Just gonna
Really dumb.
open it up.
Opens up, and within there is a seal of saloon, the third one.
It's not something we got the thing.
Are you grabbing it or letting Cheshire grab it?
I'm grabbing it and holding it like real tight.
Okay, no problem. I would say as you are the person that opened it, you can hold on to it. There isn't a contested roll unless you're trying to steal it like straight from Alina's hands, in which case it's probably an athletics check.
Not yet.
Okay. So you hold it tight and you like wait for Cheshire, and Cheshire doesn't do anything, and you're like, I gotta hold it tighter.
I keep checking. Like, it's actually
you're like
there.
not sold that it's not an illusion. You can feel it, but can you feel it? Like the water is kind of cold down here. Hard to tell, but no problem.
So going out with that, is Minka still an eel?
Yes.
I'm gonna pet her on her little eel head and be like, "Great work, Minka." I don't know. Okay, so we have 3 seals now. Cheshire, you have 2 of them. I have 1.
Almost 4.
Let's sure. Shall we go put them into the mosaic?
Yeah. Let's make sure though that we are all ready when
Are
we're
you not
doing
ready?
this, so that we don't get crushed against a literal.
We're all fine.
Ocean.
It'll be great.
Speaking of which, can Eel Minka, can you heal while you're like that? Okay.
Just like a big side-to-side wiggle. At
Well,
this
you are
point-
adorable, so.
I feel like at this point, Minka would, while appreciating the swim speed and being able to see a lot better down
Yeah.
here, would drop the eel form and just feel, and then just go back to like regular swimming. It's like, yeah, I can't. Yeah, no. That was cool though.
All your gauzy
You did a
fabric
really
like
good
falls
job.
across your face. You have to like untangle yourself a little bit.
Minka, you're the MVP.
Yeah. So like the brine cloaker thing that almost like
Probably went through there.
it's totally in there.
Well, it's probably
There
still.
might be more than one.
Oh.
It was hard to see because like seeing was really weird. It was cool. It was weird. I think I'm gonna give myself a bruise though.
The orc puts, or the half orc puts a hand on your shoulder and just goes, Minka, Good work.
Oh,
But if this thing is there, we need to move fast, or it will have time to heal.
Right.
So let's go.
yeah, I don't have a ton going on right now.
All right. Well,
Let's
stay
go.
in the back, and we'll take the brunt of it. Just do what you
Are
can.
you guys okay? By the way, that looked like it was a rough
Doing
night.
all right because I didn't get crushed by a literal ocean.
By the wall.
Okay,
Maybe while we're
Press the button. You didn't even get ready.
Or is the worst.
okay. Well, we have, if we have a few minutes before we open the door, we could do a quick one. That might be good. If you guys just both stand
Crispy.
here. And so okay, let's go to the room.
Yeah.
Let's go to the room.
Put the things down.
So,
So you guys go over to the statue room.
okay, so since we're gonna put the things anyway, she's gonna just start like getting she's gonna cast healing spirit
Okay.
on the floor in that room. Just like, all right, gather around if anyone wants some healing.
So
Gather.
this little bubble dryad just appears and just gently hugs each of you, passing through. And yeah, you can heal for all, what is it, 4 times?
If I remember, I think so.
Nobody likes me.
1 plus my spell casting.
LARPing. You grab it right off his head.
It's 7 times. It's 1 plus my spell casting modifier.
Nice. Very nice. Yeah.
So,
That's a lot of healing.
yeah, I'm gonna roll some dice, and then we'll split that between you two.
It's a lot of dice.
Tina's just gonna get every magic item in this campaign by hook or by crook. Like,
50 magical items can only attune to 3. Doesn't
like,
matter.
don't
I
care.
feel like now it has to have been like 59 minutes into my attunement. About to attune
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Yeah. You're like, wait, it's a circlet. Ah.
It's a circle. It's a circle.
So you all get healing from Minka.
It's 19 divided by 2, so that's
Or the 2 of you get healing from Minka.
19 divided by 2?
Each plus 1.
yeah,
9 each minus 1, so 9 and 8?
yeah.
No.
No.
Oh no, 19 plus 1. I was thinking
Yeah.
17 for some reason.
I'm not the only
19
one.
to
Oh yeah,
20.
17.
I'll be higher than that, so you can take the extra one.
So after you gain this little bit of healing, you feel a little better, especially after that bludgeoning with the wall. But do you place these 3 pieces down? Mostly asking Cheshire.
Thank you, Cheshire. Good work. Look, we can come back and get them if you really want.
You grab it out of Cheshire's hand. Mage hand. Ori, your pants slowly start falling back.
My belt.
You have to grab the belt, the coin goes up in the air. Cheshire grabs the coin.
No, with my other hand.
Billy's smirking at Cheshire like,
There is madness happening. However,
So much chaos.
are you placing these coins one way or another into the floor?
Yes, I'm gonna place the one that I took if I still have it.
I'm placing the one that I took.
You almost take it and in one motion, grab it and slam it into the floor.
Do they seem to be kind of like stuck in once they're planted?
So interestingly, as you take it and you go to slam it in the floor, it's a little off. It's hard to like do that in the water. But as you grab it and you move it down, it kind of right into place.
Oh, it's magnets.
The silt just around, and it's almost like you can see it melt into the floor.
So not like magnets. Kind of like magnets.
Who knows?
What's a magnet?
Play-Doh.
If you want
Cheshire?
one by one, you can put them in.
There's 2 in right now. Cheshire, go ahead.
Soon you can do it. I don't even want it. I
Just
want
give
my
her a
flute
minute.
back. Just give me my flute back.
Even holding it close, like about 5 or 6 inches off, it down into the ground.
Great work, Cheshire.
All right. Now the big door. Yeah.
Did we hear anything open?
As you put the final piece in, it's unclear to me if you put them all in, but assuming you do, you hear far off in the distance that final door rising up and into the ceiling. And Sade would start like floating impatiently back towards the Brian Cloaker room. Come.
All right.
Okay.
So let's go. Getting ready to probably die if there's more than the one.
You head back.
I'm gonna tie my little like light globe around my waist.
Okay,
with
no
both
problem.
my hands.
It floats like right behind you,
Yeah.
almost like a little like lantern. So no problem. Yeah.
Billy's going to use her 2 Eldritch invocations, Armor of Shadows and Fiendish Vigor.
Nice. So that's mage armor.
Yes.
And what is fiendish vigor?
Fiendish Vigor is 1d10.
Hit
False
points,
life,
right?
I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just need to quick look up the roll for
No
false
problem.
life.
It's
Apologies.
1d8
You make your way back to this room.
increasing.
And as you do,
1d8
you can
starting.
see many of the sea urchins that were in here are slowly beginning to turn and move towards this room. The ones that were in this hallway are making their way towards this chamber, and it's like the entire temple. The floor has come alive, and these creatures begin to make their way towards the center. You can see through this space, beyond this 15-foot wall, 15-foot long hallway, there is a large chamber filled with seaweed. And from this vantage point, you can see right up against the edge of the doorway, now slowly floating to the floor, having leaned up against it, you see a human femur. And it just kind of floats and drops.
Do we see anything other than seaweed and the femur?
Make a perception check. It's hard to see in this space.
It was pretty up towards the ceiling.
I'm looking around.
Make a perception
For-
check using your eye for detail.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't want to get
18.
I don't wanna
With an
die.
18, you get close and floating in. You look around a little bit, and you can see in this space, it's like a very long chamber. There's seaweed that rises up all along the ground, big clumps of it that form almost like almost columns or pillars in the space. There's debris that forms almost like a 5 or 6 foot layer floating up on the top, just wooden crates and benches that are broken. And then here and there are metal elements, heavily rusted over, covered in barnacles. With an 18, you also see, because they rolled real low on their stealth, even though they get a pretty good addition, in the far corner, which is, you can see near a door, up and hiding amongst the torn tapestries and broken bits of wood, that wounded creature just kind of twitches and shifts and seems to almost draw back further.
Look, Gory, it's your arch nemesis.
I got a 26 for perception, so I probably see the hidden creature that I was looking for.
Certainly. And for you, high alert. As you walk in here, tapestries everywhere. And
Your arch nemesis.
dozens.
Oh, shit.
And you also see, like, going up floor to ceiling, these huge strands of kelp and seaweed that themselves are almost like cloth. And so this whole room is just moving bits of cloth and rope and like debris and tapestries. And you certainly see amongst them this cloaker, but only one.
Only one?
There is movement elsewhere in the room, but with that check, hard to tell what it is.
Ooh.
Looking back, it's like something is moving through the seaweed and the kelp, but you can't see it.
So there is
You see
something
movement.
else that I can kind of sense, but I don't see it or, like, know what it is.
Exactly.
Okay. Taking out an arrow, I'm going to steady aim and try to finish off the cloaker from here.
Okay.
How far away is it?
Would a visual reference be helpful?
Yay!
So it is 8:30. Because it is 8:30, we're going to go to break. And when you come back, there's going to be a map on the table. All of you guys are going to get to see it right now. But we're going to step away for 10 minutes. We'll be right back at 8:43. We'll see you then. we're back. Very serious. I'm back. Thank you for those of you who stuck with us through the break. Gunnar, congratulations on watching all of Campaign 1. That's awesome. That's a lot of campaign. It's like 140 something sessions. That's a lot. So congratulations. If you are just joining, and welcome back, Talon. We have our group that has finally made their way past the 2 doorways that seal off the inner sanctum of the temple of She Whose Tears Drown the Star. Looking within the space, you were able to see. Let me pull up our close-up here. Can you slide that just a wee bit forward? Just throw my stuff. That's fine.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that's combat. You can actually see in our little combat cam. It's fairly clear, actually. This is a pretty good picture, but it's a lot clearer on Instagram at AlBaronRPG. So, Ori, peering into the space, you can see up and in the far left corner away from you right now, there is this brine cloaker hovering up amongst the wreckage here. From floor to ceiling, it's about 35 feet, and so it's floating like all the way. Actually, where's that little, where are my risers?
There's a couple over there, but
Yeah. If you want to just put it on one of those just to mark, it is floating up near the ceiling, and as you look at it, unclear if it can see you, but it seems to almost like cower and draw further away. It is quite hurt.
I'm knocking back an arrow.
Yeah, go for it.
I can reach that thing. So I'd probably get like right about here to get that angle.
Okay. What is the range on your bow?
it sure does.
I'm eating the crusty part right now.
It's at least 10 feet.
Yeah.
At least.
I'm looking because it's my longbow.
Yeah.
So the max range is 600 feet.
600 feet. Cool. No problem. What is the minimum range? Because that's what we really need to. That's what
150.
150. Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
But that's above water. So
Trying to pull as far away from the mic as possible while eating the crusty part.
And I would say, actually, because it is underwater, this is a disadvantage.
but let's study
Flat.
Make
flat.
this an ASMR tabletop experience.
Just the night that we were eating chips and all of us were just like gleefully
Nice.
crunching away.
So that's going to be a 24 to hit.
24 to hit. That absolutely hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Nice. Is it sneak attack?
This is sneak attack. So it did not see you. This is a sneak attack.
Nice. All right.
It's already pretty hurt.
Oh, let me just grab another die from the bag.
Gotta find my damage.
I'm trying to find my D6s. All right. I found one. All right. Hey!
Oh god. Tina and Cheshire are becoming
Wow,
one.
this is
Even becoming.
not a great roll for damage. Look at this.
What is the roll?
It's 8 plus 13.
It had 13 points of damage. That's amazing.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's amazing.
1,
So,
1, 2, 3.
literally,
The dice roll.
literally exactly the amount. So as you fire this arrow, it goes sluggishly from your bow, but it does streak across, leaves a little trail of bubbles, and as it moves, you see it first hits like a little broken
would've been
table,
so
and then it
embarrassing.
like loses momentum and gets closer and closer, and then finally you see it gets closer. The creature like shrinks back, but already this huge opening from Billy's green flame blade, it just sinks into the chest and almost slow motion just pushes through it in and disappears.
Precise.
This creature begins to twitch hard and like move and spasm.
It was a mercy kill.
And it is certainly dead. That's, yeah. There goes Blind Pro.
Just putting it out of its misery.
All right.
Wait, if that's dead,
All right.
why do we have a map?
Ori,
Dun dun dun.
this thing twitches,
No big deal, it doesn't
thrashes around. You can see there is,
Yeah. No. I'm good.
you can see this creature like twitch and then just die. And every now and then there's like a spasm of a wing or this weird looking tail, but certainly dead.
Already knocking another arrow and just being ready for the thing that has been moving around, but I have not seen and don't know what the
Make a
fuck-
perception check.
And don't die.
Excuse me. It's the crumb-
In that order.
the crumbs part.
Please don't die. What have you done?
17?
A 17. You look around and you see these rippling and moving in ways that you haven't previously. There's a current here maybe, but it seems too purposeful. And then you see it move again and again, and it's too hard to track. There is a part of this that reminds you of Cheshire, like somebody messing with you a little bit, but you're not sure. You don't see any creature. As your eyes do look across this space, you do see the bones. There are bones here, but they're not little and they're not fish-like bones. And as your eyes adjust a little bit, almost all of them skulls,
Like
for what it's worth.
Brian Cloaker skulls?
No. Humanoid, although then you see a few that are much larger. Some that look like they have horns protruding from them. You see all manner of creatures. There are still occasionally fish bones, and all amongst the space you can see, and there are no miniature sea urchins, but sea urchins almost coating the floor. I looked hard.
So-
Looked for
I
charms.
believe you.
Yeah.
A lot of these skulls are presumably terrestrial creatures.
You need to get closer to make a medicine check. If you want to go and do that, you can.
I don't want to do that.
Is it dark in here like all the other rooms have been? So I've just got my little globe.
Yeah, and
And
for
that's
you,
it.
like right as you get to the door, little seaweed on one side, little seaweed on the other, and then just darkness.
I'm gonna
That
just
fever.
like. This is very bad.
Can we come back in like an hour?
I don't think that's how it works.
I think he's toying with us. Slowly backing away.
Sade's at the end of the tunnel, and she doesn't move. And she sort of like stands in the way. You could move around her. It's a 10-foot wide tunnel. But she says, "We did not come here to run away."
Right. Almost tactical retreat.
Billy draws her sword.
There's something
Sade
in
draws
there.
her sword as well.
I believe it already knows our presence and is toying with us.
Oh.
I don't want to readily move into its trap.
Well, what's the plan then?
Well, not dying is my current plan.
Oh, maybe it's good
She's-
I'm not glowing then.
By going back a little bit and at least keeping this hallway between us.
What if it fits in the hallway?
Well, then we'll bottleneck it in. We'll have a
Maybe
better
if you
chance of-
played your flute, we could become friends with it.
You see Sade's head slowly turns to look at you.
There's a lot of sarcasm just etched into the face.
A few things about that. One, if I had my flute, I maybe could. But two, if I had my flute, I couldn't because we're underwater. And you can't play flute underwater.
I did it pretty well.
Okay. It's probably protecting something, right? It's not gonna come out of the room that has the thing it's protecting. We can't just draw it out.
Well, I'm not saying we draw it out. Can we just... All I'm saying is we should have this conversation about 30 feet away, at least.
What if it can hear us? What if it can hear your thoughts?
Can we see it, or is
Make
there?
a perception check.
Wait, does it know common? Should we change languages?
Billy can't see it because that's a 5 on the die.
A lot of seaweed, a lot of kelp, a lot of sea urchins.
Billy's gonna kind of like get a little impatient and like attempt to like shoulder past Ori to get.
Gotta ascertain what we're facing.
Yeah, and how are we gonna do that if we don't lay eyes on it?
Sade pushes past you on the other side.
Look, I think Sade's going,
the,
whether you want to or not.
I think I forgot.
Somebody's gotta
So,
be bait, like I
Sade
said.
is this green armored guy. Yeah, from Starfinder.
Oh,
He's from Starfinder.
nice. I like Shadow's kit.
Whoa.
Sade, this half orc, floats in about 5 feet. She turns around. Billy, are you following?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else
Trying
is
to.
following?
Sade's getting eaten for sure.
I'm like, seeing that someone has breached this doorway, I'm like, oh fuck, now we're gonna have to fight this thing and getting ready to shoot it
Okay.
again.
I'm gonna hang back because I'm holding a light source, and I'm just gonna go last and just try and wait until I can see something in
Okay,
there.
sure, no problem. So Sade enters. Billy, you enter. Minka, what are you doing?
She's just gonna like grab onto her staff really tight and kind of like stand in the doorway, pressing herself against one side. She wants to be able to see,
Okay.
but she also doesn't want to enter the room.
It's like you and Alina kind of like taking up both of the spaces in the doorway, kind of like leaning in. Cheshire, what are you doing?
Idling like 5-10 feet behind them.
Okay, no problem.
We're all
So
very
really,
free.
it's just Ori and it's just Ori and Billy and Sade that enter. No problem.
I'm not entering. I'm staying exactly where I
So
am.
all
but
of you
readying
bottlenecking at the door. Love it.
Yeah, totally.
No, I'm staying like outside of the doorway.
So this is a
Knocking
10-foot
my arrow.
wide hallway that goes about 15 to 20 feet back. There's not a lot of room that you can stand in a 10-foot wide doorway. There's like maybe this much stone that borders what was the door.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying I'm like on one side, like 5 feet behind the doorway,
Okay.
but still on the left side
Okay.
as they have
So
passed
as you
through.
become a two-dimensional object.
But there's 10 feet. I'm on the 5 feet here.
So again,
If Ori
Alina
doesn't,
and Minka standing, taking up the whole doorway, right? 5 feet out. 10 feet further back, there is 10 feet that you can stand in. However, Cheshire is taking up 5 feet of that.
Oh, so I'm just stuck behind, or in front of the two of you.
You can stand in front of me if you want.
I feel like if Ori's also trying to get back into the door, Minka's just gonna like shuffle around the front and just kind of keep her back against the wall and kind of
No,
scoot
it's
over.
fine. I'll just plop myself.
Yeah.
in
She's like
there.
trying to
Alina's
half
just gonna be
behind
like,
that.
Can you
can't see
move
anything,
Minka
so I'm just
down a
waiting
little
until I
bit
can see.
And then put Billy into the room?
I've just been smushed in here and not ready.
Sade leans back to you, Billy, and just says, left or right?
take left. Man, Sade is cool.
So, Billy, you start going left. Sade heads around this large mass of seaweed to the right. And each of you kind of tracing your way back. After they move about 15 feet away, especially for you, Alina, they move out of sight, vanishing into the kelp, into the silt. Is there anything that you guys are doing from the doorway?
I'm keeping like complete pivot to see, like try to keep eyes on both of them and keep an eye out for this current that's been
Make another
moving
perception
around
check,
from
yeah.
the.
Can I? Oh, sorry.
Can I use my eye for detail to
Yes.
spot hidden creatures?
Yes.
Can I ready an action to fire an Eldritch Blast at the first hostile creature I become aware of?
You look at Ori. Yeah, sure.
22.
22. You look around, and you can see now very definitely this of like a ripple. Something moves through the seaweed, almost using it like vines in a jungle. But you don't see this. You don't see any eel-like creatures. You don't see any giant sea urchins flying through the air.
Mine are a seal head just pops out of this.
Oh, right in front of you. Which just dissipates into bubbles.
Minka's gonna move a little bit more into the room, seeing no one died immediately.
Yeah.
And she's gonna prep a spell. I have a question though about ruling of prepping spells.
Sure.
If I prep it and don't use it, is it
You
gone?
use the spell.
I use the spell slot.
Spell slot, yeah, sorry.
I don't use my arrows. That is a benefit of not having that.
As soon as you let go of the thing, it just disappears.
Yeah, I mean, how long can I hold a prep for? Technically, just one turn, so 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's not gonna prep it yet because battle isn't really starting. But she's gonna move further into the room
Okay.
and go in front of that little batch of kelp to the right of the door.
This
yeah,
one.
I'm gonna go in front of that.
No problem.
I just feel like
You get a little bit further in, and as an air genasi, this especially like all underwater, there's no air down here, and so you feel heavy. All of the gauzy fabric and light bits around you, heavy against your body. You're very outside of your element, and so this is horrifying. And as you move, there's a crunch, and you look down, and a skull just kind of crumbles under your feet. But no problem. You move in. Alina?
Does the kelp go like basically floor to ceiling, or does it like thin out as you get higher up?
As you get higher, it does get a little bit thinner.
So I'm still gonna have my readied action, but I'm just gonna float up higher so that I can have a better vantage point of
Absolutely.
the room. if it ever gets
Make a
lighter.
perception check and make it at advantage. As you get up to the very top, the edges of this kind of corkscrew and get thinner as it just touches the very top of the space.
12.
12. You look around and you see Ori looking at something and you try to follow his gaze. You can't see anything back there. Billy, as you walk around the corner, please make a wisdom saving throw.
No. Please.
Glad I didn't go first.
That's 12.
Ooh. You probably would have been glad to not go first either.
Billy, you walk around the corner. We'll get back to that in a moment. For the rest of you, a little bit of time passes, like a minute goes by. You watch as Billy, Alina, from your vantage point, goes around this kind of kelp corner, and then watching where Ori is watching, you see like this kind of movement, and then you see the kelp just move very quickly right around where Billy was, and then stop.
Did I see the movement quickly?
I would say you saw like a little shimmer in the seaweed.
Billy.
Billy, you are paralyzed.
Oh, God.
Is everything okay?
There is no response. From around this corner, there is nothing, but from around the other corner, Sade returns, just kind of around the kelp. Be quiet.
Billy.
Did it get Billy?
Go and find her.
Come with me. It's on this side.
Minko's gonna take a really
I'm
deep
going.
breath and then go around the other side of the kelp that Sade just came from.
Okay.
And
She's gonna go back with you.
All right.
Okay.
We're moving.
So all three of you are on that way?
Pincer move, right?
yeah, no problem. You fit some move around.
I'm going this way, right?
Yeah.
Towards Billy. And you, and Sade.
Maybe he's all tangled.
This way?
Mm-hmm.
This way. I'm trying not to knock over all the...
You could also just, so the way that it's all just like kelp anchored to like a rock, so you could just pick up one and move, if you want to move people around underneath.
It was just this one.
I got you, yeah.
But, all right, I think...
Just
Make it
get
way
like little
around.
tweezers and like pick everyone up in between them.
I've said before, what we need is one of those like little war room sticks.
Yeah.
And then a set of tongs.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I get like those like tongs you use for like fish tanks.
Yeah.
And it's
Or
like,
you make your way around the corner on a pincer maneuver with your two allies, bow ready. And as you like part little bits of kelp aside, there is a figure standing in front of you. It's Billy.
What's wrong?
And they're still. Like mid footstep still.
Is there anything around? Like, clearly...
Make a perception check.
Clearly
There's Billy.
paralyzed?
Yeah, I mean,
Just like floating like this?
not floating quite like that, but yeah, seems to be a little bit immobile.
What was I checking? It's not
You're looking?
good.
This is a perception. check.
Perception.
using your eyeballs.
With your eye for detail.
Yeah. Oh. Still no. 12?
Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Kara is committing
Yeah.
to the bit over here.
Ooh, okay. 17?
Okay. So this is what happens.
Paralyzed? Oh, I don't like that.
So.
Okay, when I feel this
Oh no.
As you move around the corner and you see Billy, you go, hey, and you go over and you tap Billy on the shoulder, and Billy just floats, like fully stiff, sword outstretched. And as Billy moves around, you see the kelp right beyond Billy suddenly just turns. And as it does, you see a humanoid figure. For the very first time, something unlike what you've seen before. The flesh, fish-like, pale and pallid, probably a high elf at one point, although now hard to describe. As they turn and shift, and the seaweed all around them just reverts into something that's anchored into her skull, you can see within the pale skin, there are several points of brilliant star-like light that glow from within. And as she turns and turns the head, Her entire face is split down the middle, and you could see at one point there was flesh that is like kind of healed over a little bit. There are no eyes. They've like split away. The eye sockets have torn open, and set in the middle, there is just one baleful glowing star. And as you see this glare, you avert your eyes and feel like your heart almost stops. But in that moment, you are able to avoid this effect.
And fire my arrow at the
Make an attack
eye.
at disadvantage. And go ahead and everybody roll for initiative.
Yes. Waiting for that.
Aiming for this eye.
How does it work when you're paralyzed?
Thanks, I hate
So you still roll for initiative. You're just you are paralyzed earlier if you roll high.
So I had readied an action to fire an Eldritch Blast at the first hostile creature
This
that I like
creature,
perceive.
You don't see it from where you are. You see 15 feet around you. You are not seeing a lot.
Fine. Fun fact: you don't have to see the creature for Eldritch Blast.
That's true, but you do need to see the creature to know that it's there.
Whatever.
Otherwise, you're just shooting at Billy.
No.
17 to hit.
Okay, so we're gonna get back to that in just a second. Go ahead and roll initiative. That does hit.
Nice. Okay. And as I'm firing this, I'm like, trouble, trouble.
And this really is going to come down to how you roll, because I think she's probably going to beat you on initiative.
Okay, yeah, probably because that was bad.
Oh, is that?
A 9.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. All right, anybody with a natural 20.
But the first shot hits.
We're going to get back to that.
Okay. Oh, because, yeah.
25 to 20.
22.
22, very nice. Anybody 20 to 15?
15.
15 for Minka. Oh, this is not looking great.
Why do I keep rolling so high?
15 to 10?
12.
12 for Alina. And then Billy, where are you?
I'm hanging out with Ori at a 9.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to put you after Ori, because that just kind of thematically makes sense. The cloaker would be last, however, it's dead. So the way that this shakes out, Cheshire is going first, followed by this creature, followed by Minka, followed by Alina, followed by Ori, who is midst firing this bow, followed by Billy. And actually, you know what?
Donde está Shade?
For sake of... Oh, right. Thank you. Oh, yeah. So actually, she is going after you, Billy, at 8.
Oh, God.
She rolled a 5.
Hey.
So, the way that we're going to resolve this, go ahead and roll damage on that.
Cool.
And then I think the well,
Not a sneak attack.
definitely not. No, she's more sneak attacking on you here.
Yeah, that was my
And
assumption.
then after that, go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Another one. God. All right, so the hit was for 6 points of damage.
Okay. What kind of damage is that?
Piercing. Just longbow arrow.
Okay.
And then wisdom save.
Wisdom save.
Nice. That's an 18 plus 3? 21.
Plus 3, 21. That's absolutely a save. As you turn and look at this creature, just looking at it is horrifying. And you feel almost the need to turn away, but you overcome that and you fire. You deal damage to this creature. No problem. So starting us off, that brings us to Cheshire, followed by this creature, followed by Minka. Cheshire, what do you want to do?
Well, I'm hanging out back.
Yep.
So can I tell them anything's going on over there?
At this moment, all that you really see is maybe Alina becoming a little bit more concerned, trying to like look. But aside from that, not much.
Hanging out though.
All right, you hang out, free action. That brings us to this creature. So, from where she is, let me place her down.
In the kill.
Clearly just a puppet.
You can actually see through elements of her.
It's still
As she emerges from this kelp, you see the way that she moves is very odd. It's twitchy, and she walks along the ground here, though everything else floats.
Parasitic.
In ways, yeah. Looks kind of twitchy, but the face kind of split open. You see the star and 3 other stars glowing within wounds in her body. And as she turns, well, let me take a look here.
She gets a shot in the eye.
No, but I would say she's going to move 15 feet forward towards you, Ori.
I don't like that she has triple my movement speed.
I mean, to be fair, you have very little moving speed underwater.
Yeah,
But she like walks along, and though she walks on the sand, it's like she takes one step and then takes many steps, the same stiff, shambling gait, but really fast. And as she crawls across this, suddenly right in front of you, the middle star in her chest burns bright. And I need you and Alina, and I would say, Cheshire, you're in the hallway. You're like inside of the door, right?
Like, even set back from the door and kind of leaning up against the wall. Just
Up at the
Yeah,
top
that's
of
still
this.
in that line. So all three of you make dexterity saving throws, please. As this star glows brighter and brighter and brighter, there is this crack of energy that streaks out in a 60-foot line.
Is this a magical effect?
This is a magical effect.
Because I forgot last session that I have magical resistance.
Wild creatures.
Yeah. Did you say dex saving throw?
18? Yes.
16.
18? 16? All of you save, which means you are taking half damage.
Billy auto fails.
Oh, yeah, but Billy, I don't believe you're in that straight line, are you? She walked past you.
Okay. I don't know technically where
she
Billy
lined us
is.
up.
Yeah, we don't really know where Billy is.
Oh, so
'cause-
Billy is 5 feet beyond you. So she stepped basically 5 feet past Billy, who cannot attack.
I can't see it for a
That's,
square, but I think
yeah,
that's
that's pretty much.
the coordination of it.
I would have to be like in the kelp.
All of you are taking 21 points of damage, halved to 10. As this streaks out and cracks through, the water gets hot in the wake that follows, and there is almost, you can hear this crack as the water fills that space in. But that is her action. Now that all of you, with the exception of Alina, who is still too far away, can see. Oh, that's when people start their turn. Never mind. That's the action. That's all that she's going to do. She's going to take 5 feet of movement away from you, Ori.
Does that provoke an attack of
It does if you want to do it.
He said away from you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Then yes.
Yeah, go ahead, make your attack roll. This is with a bow, so this is a disadvantage
blunt.
already, but
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's blunt damage, right? To hit the.
Are you swinging your bow?
Oh wait, no.
Are you swinging your, like, the physical bow at this creature?
Well, I can't really do anything else because I can't take a shot as a reaction, can I?
I mean, no, so, but
Yeah.
that still surprised me.
Oh well, I mean, what else?
I just thought you'd punch it.
He just rules lord himself.
I just assumed it was an unarmed strike, but sure. You
Well,
take
it
the
counts
bow.
as an
Yeah, no, I
unarmed
know.
strike, but yeah.
It's just a
Or
weird
improvised
image.
weapon, unarmed strike. No, it's like
You're like holding it back, and as this
Oh, yeah,
creature
one of
just
these.
one of
right in
those,
front of you, it's less that you hit it with your bow, and more that as it's drawn back, you just punch it from like already holding the bow, and the creature draws back a little bit. I believe
It was not a natural 20 because it was a disadvantage,
I don't
but I
think you-
rolled a 20.
for unarmed strike, I believe you're just doing 1 damage or 1 plus your strength modifier. You don't roll for that, I don't believe, unless you have a feature.
No, yeah, it's 1 damage. But I was saying it might not hit because it's a 10.
So after all that, you go, and you reach out and try to punch them with your bow, and as it is underwater, your hand just kind of slowly moves forward, and she just skitters back out of sight. Or not out of sight, out of range. That is, however, her turn. That brings us to Minka. Minka, what do you want to do? You are on the other side of this kelp. And you and Sade, I put Sade down there, right?
Yes.
Yep.
You and Sade, at this point, hear that crack as this goes through. Something is definitely happening. What do you want to do?
Okay, so I think it's gonna go out in front of the kelp
Yep.
and see if she can see what's happening.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a perception check as an action.
Ricky.
9.
You look out, and all that you can really see is debris and silt and kelp.
Okay. She's gonna be like, dang it. And then let me do that. Is that a kind of action? Everything's an action.
What do you want to do?
I hate it. I hate that everything's an action and it's awful.
Yeah.
At this point, she will actually ready a spell.
Okay.
And hold fairy fire
Okay.
until she can actually see either the creature, like a creature, or enough movement that she thinks it's a creature.
Okay, fair enough. No problem. So you get that ready. Anything else, Minka?
Nope.
That brings us to Alina, or you're on deck. Alina, what do you want to do? From your distance, now, you certainly know that something is going
Things
on.
happening, yeah, okay. So I'm gonna stay high up, but I'm gonna swim toward where I think whatever that effect was came from.
So I'm gonna try, if I get to like about here on the other side of this kelp bunch.
Yeah.
Now what do I see?
Going over on that side, you just swim through. And what is your swim speed?
I do not have a swimsuit.
Oh, so you're moving 5 feet. Is what you mean.
I thought it was half.
I'm pretty sure. Give me 1 second. If it is half, that would be much better for you.
Phosphorus. Swim speed being half would be nice.
I
Yeah,
think
you're right, half.
Okay. So I think I can just about get here.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so do I see anything?
Floating up there, if you want as an action, make a perception check. You see like Ori kind of like just seemingly punching at nothing. From here, actually, I don't even think you need to make a perception check. You can't see. With 15 feet of vision, too far away.
But you hear me shouting,
Yeah.
trouble! Big trouble!
All right. I guess I'll use the rest of my action to just try and get toward Ori.
Okay, no problem.
So I'll come down, and if I get next to Ori, then do I see what's going on?
You're about 5 feet back from Ori, I think. But if she moved 10 feet beyond Ori, you're still not seeing her.
Okay.
So, yeah, she should be right at the edge of your range of sight. And as her hair is part of what this kelp is, it's like it is partially this. So there's an element of this room that is probably her. I would say you see something. You don't necessarily see what she is.
And as a free action out loud, I'm just gonna be like, I need light. Somebody make a light or something. That's my turn.
I mean, fairy fire is light.
Yep.
If you want, that's a held action.
Burn the
Do it.
cow!
She's gonna do it.
Okay.
Yay!
You throw fairy fire.
So where I can't. I see a pillar. Where am I? I'm
You're
like
here. You're like on the other side
It's
of the
60
pillar.
feet.
Here you go.
Oh, haha. I feel so fancy.
Tell Sade to get out of the way.
So that's a 20 foot right
You can
here.
declare allies, I believe.
Okay. That's good.
That's a 30 foot.
Take this chunk out.
So I think I can do.
Fairy fire does not burn things, for what it's worth.
I think
Also, we're underwater.
I should put it like here.
Yeah, absolutely.
So center it basically one square diagonally from the creature. Like, yeah, she can't see, but that's an area that she can see. That's
Okay,
60
yeah,
feet.
no problem. So you throw it over almost near that pillar and the kind of bench that is underneath. And as you do, up on top, it's like little stars begin to like drift down and fall, like stardust, elements of like the saloon moon motes almost, but tiny. And as they fall down and begin to fall, all of you who are in that space see them begin to drift and fall across the creature. And as this does, I believe, reveal invisible or hidden creatures, right?
Yes,
It
but dex
outlines them?
save. They take dex save.
Dex save.
Yep.
Well, is this, no, that's a 16. Never mind. 18.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a save, but anything, the objects in the area are still coated
Cool.
for as long as it's held.
Okay.
So, and they emit a dim light within 10 feet.
What you do see is in kind of like obscured by something. It's like this weird hazy orb coated in this fairy fire that now moves around. And Ori, you would recognize this as that central star that just cast lightning bolt at all of you. Anything else, Minka?
That was my reaction. So she's just gonna.
Yeah, sorry.
hold
So
it.
that was your reaction to Alina going over, swimming down, yelling, "Give me light!" And so that brings us, if that's the end of your turn, Alina,
Yeah.
to Ori. Ori, what do you want to do? Billy, you're on deck.
I'm gonna use my insightful fighting as a bonus action. I need to make an insight check against the creature,
Yep.
and it's against its deception. How deceptive is this thing? That
Pretty
is
deceptive.
21.
It beats you.
Okay, cool. So Then I'm just gonna take a regular shot at it with
you
my
go.
bow and arrow.
So at a disadvantage, go ahead and make your attack roll.
Doesn't even need disadvantage. That's a 3 on the
Yeah,
die.
absolutely not. You like pull the arrow back, and the arrow turns just a little bit before you release it, and the water resistance just
Wait,
turns
it does matter because that was a natural 1.
So actually, it turns, and then it turns perfectly back and flies through the water. Let's see, who's up there? It's Billy, right? And Billy, you don't have the ability to really make dex saves, do you?
I don't.
Can you go ahead and roll damage? This is a critical hit.
I really missed that.
So roll damage, and actually, technically, this is a sneak attack, and so go ahead and roll that damage as well.
What? How's it a sneak attack?
I would imagine that Billy's probably not expecting it, and this is just a natural one straight in the back through the darkness.
And any attack that hits the creature is a
Critical hit. So this is doubling all the damage on the dice. Go ahead, roll that damage. Roll low numbers. It's very technically possible that you kill Billy outright here.
If you do that, Matt.
So sorry.
You have to roll about 71% damage to do that, but it's possible.
Don't say it.
I was just talking to Joe last night about how much I was excited to play through this character.
Don't ever say that.
I'll talk character
The
development.
new goal will be finding someone who can cast Revivify.
One more level, guys.
Almost.
One more.
We're all gonna be so good at level 5.
So
Gonna bring back my baking war cleric.
double that.
With the cook feat.
24.
Billy down?
Billy's down.
Oh man. And so this arrow, Billy, as you are frozen, you see all this stuff happen. This creature disappears.
Oh no, wait! I have 10 HP!
Then in front of you. How much temp HP do you have? Is it
I
enough?
had 5!
Hey, there you go. So how much do you have left?
2!
Hey, look at that. So this digs into you, Billy. And as you feel this, 1 second, I'm gonna get paralyzed real quick.
Unparalyzed?
That was a roller coaster.
I would have felt so bad.
You doubled
I
the
still
damage,
feel
right?
very
That
bad.
you,
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still
I got
paralyzed,
a 2 and a
unfortunately.
1, which was helpful.
However, in this paralyzed state, you are now also in a tremendous amount of pain. You
And I feel intense hatred.
You know it's Ori. Somehow.
Sorry.
It's like you hear a whistling sound, and like as soon as it hits in, you feel something pop within you. The pain is blinding and aching, but there you go. Anything else, Ori?
I apologize profusely as a reaction.
You might need to make like an action
And, I
to
guess-
apologize.
Back up 5 feet away from now Billy.
Yeah.
Billy thinks about
Sorry,
the fact
sorry.
that she used her hellish rebuke earlier in the day and is upset.
Floated into the
And Billy, that brings us to you with your 2 HP. What would you like to do?
Can I make a saving throw of some kind to shake off the paralyzation? Because if not, I'm just gonna hang out.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're doing, actually. Hang on 1 second. Let me take a look at what this does here.
This is. Remember in the fight against Istries, I was paralyzed for like 4 turns.
Paralyzed sucks.
It sucks. It's so hard.
At the end of your turn, you can make a wisdom saving throw.
Cool. Well, I can't do anything.
There you go.
Make that throw.
You break free. Thank God. Feeling this arrow just lodge a little deeper in your body.
Sorry.
No problem. You can see this creature, the eye slowly turning on you. What do you want to do? That's
that was
your
it.
turn. Yeah. That brings us to Sade. So Sade, seeing you cast this, and now this glowing orb, from where you are, you can hear her voice kind of catch for a moment, and she says, "That's it." And she is going to take a full action to dash towards that orb. She is right next to Minka.
Is her
She can move
movement half?
35 feet.
So
No, her movement is halved actually, so that's 15 feet.
so 30 total.
Yeah. if she can get into contact with that creature, she will.
This thing?
No, the creature.
the creature.
It's like embedded in her chest. This is what casts the spell on
I thought it was
Like
this.
one-
No, that's
Sorry,
just the
1,
statue. You guys haven't really seen
3,
that yet.
4, 5.
No, I know. Hannah
6.
thought that's what it was.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Getting up behind her.
Okay. So she like swims as fast as she can, holding the sword like with one hand, backhanded, and gets as close as she can.
5 feet diagonally from them.
So fairly close, but unable to do much with that. That is Sade's turn. That brings us to the cloaker, who is dead, to the top of the initiative order. Cheshire, what do you want to do?
Ouch! And make my way down to the doorway and cast Dissonant Whispers. Leave my resounding ouch.
Ouch, 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 ouch. And it begins to echo off, and like the first ouch
I said sorry,
ripples
I'm
through, and it's like this ghost just tearing through the kelp, but it's just this word moving off the walls. What kind of saving throw is that?
That creature needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom saving throw. Not great for it. That's a 13.
That is a failure.
Nice.
So what does that do?
That is 3d6 psychic damage and must immediately use its reaction if available to move as far as its speed allows away from me.
A reaction?
Yes.
Evelina remembers why she lets Cheshire stick around.
14 psychic damage. Oh!
That's a good amount of damage on this thing. Very nice. So as you like reach out and yell ouch, and it echoes through this space, there is somewhere off in the darkness where you can hear this loud and this creature just I don't really understand how it moves as a reaction, because it doesn't have a reaction movement.
It would use the
Gotcha.
use
Okay.
reaction
I see what
to
you're saying.
move.
I see what you're saying. Fair enough. Okay. No problem. Anything else, Cheshire?
And then stepping over the other side so I'm not in a direct line with anybody.
Okay. And then flat against the wall. That is your turn, Cheshire. This brings us to this creature. After hissing out in pain, it is going to turn, and Billy, well, can't see Cheshire. Billy. This creature rushes towards you, and almost in stride, it's going to take a claw attack.
Is Sade close enough to have an attack weapon?
Yeah.
She's 5 feet diagonal, so I don't believe so, right?
She would have to move. Oh, I guess she can
Yeah,
stay within
she can
range
stay
by
in
going
base.
this way.
Damn.
So, Billy, that is going to be a 24 to hit.
Yeah.
And because you're going down, just so you know, that is going to be 9 points of slashing damage.
Cool. I'm not dead.
As she rakes this claw across you and shrieks, you see, like, the last thing that you really see is this slow pace still carrying her rapidly across the floor. She stops right in front of you, Ori. And as she looks, you see this bright light. The hair like floats out of the way, the kelp away from this rotting flesh. And you see this bright single light peer out at you. Make a wisdom saving throw. It's an important one.
30-20?
Okay. As it looks at you again, and you feel this horrified feeling creeping over, this ice going through your veins and moving towards your heart. You imagine your heart would stop if it reaches, but you are able to pull away and overcome this horrifying creature. You stand your ground. Your heart does not stop. That is this creature's turn. That brings us to Minka. Minka, you see this like glowing orb suddenly appear and then just disappear forward.
Minka's just gonna kind of like gently like curse herself and then try to move towards it.
Okay.
Because I don't know how. I can't really move that far, but
15
I have 30. Yeah, because
Throw my pillars around.
So it's
Gentle love tap.
I guess I would go like right here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't quite reach myself.
There we go.
Yeah. Do I see what's happening yet?
From here, now that you can see like all of these people kind of surrounding at the fairy fire over the orb, Alina's little glowing balloon casting a very faint light from this distance as this creature has gotten closer, you can see this horrifying creature and what looks like almost these horrifying glowing stars that are coming through the pallid flesh, which looks almost like waterlogged fish skin that just floats and clings to this really skinny form.
Do I see Billy?
Kind of like beginning to float away. Yeah, you see Billy.
Okay. I'm going to see how close she is still and like how in the heat of combat.
Yeah.
Minga's going to cast Guiding Bolt on the creature.
Yeah.
And then for the next couple turns, try and move closer to Billy to actually heal her.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
But for now,
make your attack roll.
Guiding Bolt. Please hit the creature and not Billy. Yeah. I probably missed 12.
12 does not hit, unfortunately.
But it doesn't hit me.
Thematically appropriate for your guiding bolt. It off and into the darkness, and then just against a far wall.
I got it.
Little rubble falls down, but a miss. Anything else?
So.
Alright.
Oh,
Oh.
wait.
Oh.
No, because I did a leveled spell.
Oh,
Mother
man, the
trucker.
cantrips.
Next time.
Alina, what do you want to do?
All right.
Or you're on deck.
So Alina can now basically see everything, right? Because of fairy fire.
Yeah, you watched Ori kill your friend,
Yeah.
and then this creature scuttle back.
All right. So Alina, as a free action, is gonna be like, "Fuck you, Ori," and then she's gonna come around here and yell try to get the creature's attention and be like, "Leave her alone!" And then hex, and then I'll just rest.
Yeah, very nice. Put that there.
A present.
Oh, yay!
Special delivery.
It's so nice. Okay, and then I'll just blast.
Roll your attack.
I'm gonna say I won't. Oh no, 14.
That is a miss, unfortunately, as you fire this Eldritch Blast. As these shadows creep around this creature, it looks up and the star seems to shine brighter and brighter. And the hex, though it does cling to it and it is hexed, it seems to almost shy away from this brilliant, baleful light.
Did I successfully get its attention?
You would imagine so.
Mother. That's my turn.
Alrighty. That is your turn. That brings us to Ori. Billy, you're on deck.
So with Billy's
Get ready for death saves.
lifeless body kind of floating off away from me, I would like to move.
You actually can see, not lifeless, the life flowing from the wound that you
I'm
create.
gonna try to push the body gently away from this creature's range
For anybody
and
who's not
towards,
watching, you shot her in the back and then shoved her out of the way.
not into the kelp, towards Minka, who has appeared on the side here.
She's in, and also she's in base contact with the creature right now. So
Into the kelp.
No, I mean,
give her an attack.
if that's what you want to do, go for it. You
It's
go
not
up.
gonna be. This thing's not gonna go attack of opportunity against a dead body when I'm about to hit it. Because I'm gonna hit it.
So you shove Billy's lifeless corpse through the water, and the water just out. The body
Catcher ate up
floats.
the reaction.
It only moves like 5 feet. You can't really unless you're gonna drag the body. It's not. This isn't zero gravity.
Well, I'm just giving,
This is water, and so you just kind of
keeping a little bit of room so that I can get over here into the space.
Billy moves like
to
3 feet to the side and just keeps floating.
Try and draw the attention away
Okay, no
from
problem.
the death knell. and
Anything
then,
else, Ori?
Yeah, making an
Go for it.
attack. Is it at disadvantage because it's 12, I think?
12 is a miss.
Check. Yeah, that's a 12.
That's a miss. From this distance and underwater, your arrow is just not really doing it.
It's tough.
Anything else, Ori?
That's it.
All right, Billy, death saving throw, please.
It's 4.
It's a failure. You can go ahead and mark that off. That brings us to Sade. Sade is going to go. She's 5 feet diagonal from it, correct?
Yes.
So she's gonna move up behind it so that she's like right up into base
We're
contact.
flanking.
Yes, and she's
Oh,
gonna
so I
take.
should have had neutral with the disadvantage, right? Because the flank.
She's flanking now.
Okay.
So this is going to be an attack with this rapier. That's cocked. That is not. That is going to be a hit. And as this lashes out, you do see there is a bright glow from this rapier. It is certainly magical. I think somebody observed that before. This does deal a good amount of damage to this creature. And again, you see it turns towards you, Alina, and as this begins to glow brighter and brighter, suddenly you see the orc, the tusks just appear from the darkness, and she just drives this rapier through this creature's chest, away from the star, not quite piercing that. The flesh like becomes droplets in the water and becomes to almost like little bubbles coming around you. But that is Sade's attack.
Dungeon.
She's going to take an offhanded attack, actually. That is going to be a hit as well. 1 point of damage. Every bit counts. Offhanded fighting. All right. That is Sade's turn. That brings us to the top of the round. Cheshire, what would you like to do? Followed by this creature.
Can I see this creature and or Billy from where I am?
From where you are right now, you have dark vision, right? Through the kelp, I feel like you probably can't quite see. You would need to make a perception check to see. You see like movement and light and like all of these actions, but you don't see people or figures.
Okay. Cautiously make my way forward.
You're like, oh shit, I have to actually do something. And you make your way onto a battlefield for the first time, aside from the time that you were singing. Anything else? That's very technically, yes.
Is it clearer from this?
From here, as you get closer and you kind of round that first clump of kelp, yeah, you can see, I would say, like Billy floating up. You see the creature like glowing, but not the creature itself. You see like Ori kind of silhouetted from that glow. You can surmise where the creature is.
Whole person.
Okay,
Nice.
there you go. That is a wisdom saving throw.
So, yeah.
That's pretty good. That is a 17.
That will succeed.
Yeah. Anything else?
And then Billy looks like she's kind of lifeless.
Billy's looking real rough, yeah.
Life is draining out.
Healing word.
So Billy, through this darkness, there is suddenly just this like the end of maybe like a word or a syllable, and as it hits your ear, you blink awake and you feel there's an arrow like up against your liver. You can like feel the tip of it driving into something important internally. Every time you turn, you feel this almost blinding pain across most of the right side of your body. But you are alive.
That's 7 points.
Hey.
You feel the arrow kind of out a little bit. But no problem. That is anything else, Cheshire?
That's it.
All right, that brings us to this creature. So this creature, originally about to attack you, Alina, is going to turn and use her death glare on Sade, who is going to make a wisdom saving throw. That's a 10 plus. This is going to be real close. That is a failure. And so you watch as this star turns and glows brighter and brighter in the darkness. You see Sade's pupils become pinpoints before all of a sudden she reaches, grabs for her throat, and drops to 0 hit points. That is her action. Trouble, sorry. As a bonus action, she's going to lash out with her claw at Sade's body. No, I feel like she's probably not going to do that.
I'm still.
Who's in 5 feet? You are?
It's
Ori's there.
myself.
Or she wheels around as that
guy.
light is like dying down. She slashes across. That is going to be 18 to hit.
That hits.
You are taking 10 points of slashing damage. She rakes this across your chest. As she does, her hand, the bone has like emerged through the flesh, this pale skin like peeling away. And so these bones are like raking into you. But that's her turn. Yeah, that's her turn. That is going to bring us to Minka, followed by Alina. Minka, what do you want to do?
I'm gonna move towards Billy
Okay.
and grab her hand and cast Cure Wounds.
Okay. You see Billy like kind of start to life right as you cast Cure Wounds, but still, go ahead and roll healing.
Next.
Ooh.
Nice.
12 points.
Ooh.
All the way out, the arrow now emerges. Although you are in a lot of pain, you are feeling a lot better than you were a couple seconds ago.
Ori sucks. No one else does.
Anything else?
Everything else is either a level spell or an action. So, no.
You grab onto Billy, you jolt life into her, and then you turn. That is your turn. That brings us to Alina. Alina, from your vantage point, you see all of this unfolding in front of you. What do you want to do?
Eldritch Blast.
There you go. Make your attack roll.
Yeah. That's pretty good. 21?
21 hits, yeah.
Alright, so that's... She's got the Hex, we got the D10, and then the extra little bit of bludgeoning. That's... Oh no.
Oh no.
God. Min damage for... Okay. 9 points of Eldritch Blast damage.
Every little bit counts. And especially here in this dark space, as the shadows are clinging to this creature's pale skin, it makes it almost outlined for you. And so you strike out. At the last minute, as Sade drives her rapier through and this creature turns and like casts this ability that makes Sade drop to 0 hit points, you hit just a little bit off and to the side and it just goes right by. Anything else, Alina?
No.
Alrighty. That brings us to Tori.
Whoa, I'm gonna hit this thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna steady aim it.
Okay. Why have you not done that yet?
Because I've been using my bonus action to do other things.
Okay, fair enough, I guess. Go ahead, make your roll flat.
Oh, because I'm no longer flying. It doesn't matter anyway. All right. Nice. That's a 19 plus 7.
Yeah, that definitely hits. 26, yeah.
Cool. Not a sneak attack,
I
though.
think 26 is the AC of a red dragon.
There were times when
Max
Aka's
damage.
AC,
Yeah.
all hasted up,
Yeah.
hit 28.
That's 13 points of piercing.
13 points of
Super
piercing.
high.
So finally, as you like pull back and you take a moment, you take a deep breath, feeling this soothing water fill your lungs, and you release. For the first time, not firing it sideways or into one of your allies, you strike home. Billy, there is a moment where like you feel the arrow right by you under your arm as you're like moving out of the way, but this strikes home and it does a tremendous amount of damage. This creature again, out in pain, you can see the eye begin to turn towards you. It is still up. Anything else, Ori?
Nope, because I steady aim, so I'm not moving.
Billy, filled with healing energy from your allies and now not filled with an arrow from your other allies, what would you like to do?
Hex.
There you
Double
go.
hex.
Double hex.
Extra
When you
hex.
do that, it feels like it's going towards me. And I have the sense that is intentional.
You're just
I
like,
understand why.
We're just
long
going
as
to be
you
making
know.
up for this for the rest of the campaign.
And then Billy's going to
Remember the time I almost killed you?
sword slash.
Yeah,
18 plus 6 is 24 to hit.
that definitely hits.
Nice.
8 points of damage total, and that's 7 points piercing and 1 point necrotic.
7 points of piercing and 1 point necrotic?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else, Billy?
Them's my actions.
All right. You slash out with your blade, and as you do, you can see it cuts through the skin. Elements of the skin become like droplets in the water, almost like fatty lipids that are separating into the space. Anything else? No, that's your. That is Billy.
Disadvantage on wisdom ability checks. Oh.
Okay. No, hey,
It's actually
that's
very
good.
useful for me.
Ability checks?
Yeah.
It's not saving those. Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because
Insightful fighting.
Yeah.
Oh. I usually don't even bother naming it, but that's good to know.
Yeah, it is really good. There, especially as you guys get higher levels, it will matter a lot more for sure.
Yeah. No, but that's like exactly what I needed.
Hell
That
yeah.
is your turn, Billy. That brings us to Sade.
Who is totally fine.
Totally
One
fine.
death failure.
Everything's fine. No.
She'll be fine.
Who's gonna captain the boat?
I mean, none of you have sailed a ship before? Oh, right. You're
first
all from the middle of nowhere.
First mate.
He
So,
seems nice.
Seems like a nice guy.
They're the vice presidents, right? They just take the place of the.
He just like
Been waiting
knows
for
now.
that promotion for some time.
That is Shaday's turn. That brings us to the top of the round. Cheshire, you are up. What do you want to do?
None of the things that I want to do are going to be helpful. So,
Isn't that generally true, though?
yes. Inspiration for Alina, then.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Suddenly, through the darkness, you hear this like same word just bouncing off the walls through the kelp. It's the same one that seemed to disorient before. And as it goes, you almost shy away from it. And as it goes right near you, suddenly it just becomes little fish. Poof. And you just become inspired. No problem.
Confused but inspired.
It's a good kind of confusion.
Yeah.
Anything else, Cheshire? All right, that brings us to this creature. So, in base contact with you still, Ori? It's going to go ahead and lash out with this bonus action. That's not good. That is going to be a 5 to hit.
Not gonna hit. Wow.
Hey.
And
Like
so
that.
it like pulls back as it like you almost take the bow, like grab onto the bones of its fingers, cast it aside. The other hand comes, grabs onto your shoulder, and it takes this single glowing star and stares straight into your soul. You saw him do this to her do this to Sade. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
Another one.
You can do this every turn.
Nice. That's 18 plus 3.
That is a
Rolls
success.
well where it counts.
Again, you were able to steal your heart and not succumb to this effect. This creature, from where they are, provoke what, 1 attack of opportunity if they move, right? Or is it 2? Is Billy close enough? No,
Billy's
Shade's a
close
corpse.
enough.
They're, yeah.
Billy's close.
So I'm
enough.
just going to
It's
stay
Billy and
exactly
Ori,
where she
yeah.
is. That is her turn. That brings us to Minka, followed by Alina. Minka, what do you want to do?
So I'm going to take a step to this side and back.
Okay.
And so I'm going to go like here.
You move towards what is a table overflowing with skulls. And beyond that, like an old fireplace, maybe.
So I'm going to keep the creature in my eyeline. I'm going to use the cantrip produce flame and see if anything stays in my hand underwater.
Just a little fizzle. You kind of see a light for a moment and nothing really, yeah.
I'm gonna be like, dang it. And then I'm going to do healing word bonus action on Shade.
No problem. Suddenly, Shade jerks a little bit through this kind of lifeless drift, but we'll get back to that.
Okay. So she gets 7 back, and then that's it. That's all I could do.
Alrighty, Minka. You heal Shade back up, and Alina, what do you want to do?
Just Eldritch blasting again.
No problem.
So
Go ahead.
remind me, the inspiration, I can use it.
After you roll, yeah.
Right, okay.
Oh, so good as inspiration.
It's so good. 23 to hit.
23 hits.
Six. 13 damage.
13 points of damage.
Yep.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
That's good.
Pretty good. And then just free action, be like, this sucks. This sucks so hard.
It does. As you cast this spell, it hits the creature. They jerk back, but they seem fixated on Ori still. Anything else, Alina?
No.
Alrighty, that brings us to Ori. Ori, you see this creature turning their attention back to you. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna use my insightful fighting again.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Both were pretty bad, but the worst one is significantly worse.
Okay. Cool. So
It's
that
against
might be,
deception.
So you're saying there's a chance?
yes.
5, sorry.
That's close because that was an 11.
Wow.
I have something for that. Don't worry.
So now,
They would have tied you without. Pizza still beats it, but that's pretty close.
Can I?
okay, so now I can make my attack flat because
Yes.
now I'm flanked.
Yep.
And that still uses sneak attack.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Jeez. There's no like AC change or anything going on because
Nah.
that's a 10.
Oh yeah, this time it hits.
Unfortunately, this arrow again just kind of into the water and just kind of begins to float amongst the debris.
Alright, cool.
That is your turn.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Billy, what do you want to do
Is this thing flanked at all or no?
It's flying.
at this moment?
Now it is, yeah.
It's flanked. Got there. Oh, she encompassed, right?
So
you
we
do?
have straight rolls then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Slashy slash.
Yeah, make your attack roll. Do slashy slash.
Splashy slash?
Splashy slash. Unfortunately.
Oh no.
No.
That's a 4 on the dice. That's not gonna make it.
That's
Because that's a 10.
miss. Yeah, it's definitely a miss.
We can do this, guys.
Still in immense pain. You are like, probably if there is no medical attention, you'll just bleed out from this wound. You are like stifling the blood spilling from your body and trying to fight at the same time, and it's showing.
How does Sade look?
Not great. She looks 7.
She looks 7.
About 7.
I'm clocking in at about
Billy's gonna look over and like kind of glare at her a little bit and just be like,
You better hold on a little bit longer. We need you.
and then that's Bardic.
Okay, cool. Very, very cool. That is your turn, Billy. That brings us to Sade. Sade, now with your Bardic Inspiration, is going to go 5 feet to her right, staying in base contact, but make an attack from there. I'm just trying to open up for Ori to move like this way if for whatever reason you wanted to. Okay.
5 feet.
Nice.
Did you mean her
That was
left?
a hit.
Like over this way?
Sorry, yes.
Okay.
It's
makes
my
more sense.
my right.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's not helpful at all. Okay, sorry. That is a hit.
Mini.
That is going to be almost minimum damage, but
Almost
still not.
minimum. It's not minimum damage.
It's not minimum damage.
He'll take it.
slightly more than minimum damage.
So you say you have better hold on for a little bit longer. She kind of grunts and just thrusts this forward, extending her whole body. And the healing that you did, you could see like tears open a little bit as she does. But with this like fencing-like extension, she's able to thrust through this creature and pulls away. And as she does, one of those stars just winks out. And this creature seems like they're starting to become pretty hurt. But that is Sade's turn. That brings us to the top of the round. Cheshire, what do you want to do?
Bonus action, unsettling words.
Okay.
So, on the next saving throw, she can subtract 6.
Oh my god. Oh.
That's big.
Cheshire just MVP.
Whole person.
Okay. Very nice. And you said -6, right?
Yes, sir.
Not great. 6.
That is a failure.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think it would have failed either way, but that's good. All right. So you watch as all of a sudden, as they like turn around, ready to strike out at you, you see this eye beginning to glow. One of the stars winks out, and then all of a sudden from the other side, you can see what does this look like when you do hold person?
Almost like this pinch for like I'm almost pulling it toward me.
Okay, so you do this little pinch, and Ori, you're really close. You see the water just like around, and then you just kind of pull, and she goes taut, trying to resist, and you just hold her in this space. Go ahead and put, we'll say physical effect for this.
She's paralyzed, really technically.
She has so many rings.
Anything else, Cheshire?
That's my turn.
All
Look
right,
at those tables turn.
that is her turn. At the end of her turn, she does get a save.
She does.
It's a 5.
That is a failure.
Yeah, this is rough. So that is her turn. That brings us to you, Minka.
So she's still. I can't get into base contact with her, I don't think. But I will move my movement towards Alina.
Okay, 15 feet.
Yeah.
You swim to Alina through the kelp and the
I think you
silk.
could get in base contact if you move through Sade.
Okay.
Yeah, you can move through Sade.
Okay, I'm gonna move through Sade, and then I'm going to, because I don't got much left, I'm gonna shocking grasp.
Okay. So right now, Sade is like all the way extended, her blade through this creature, and as you drift forward, you like scale Sade, pulling up to like get over top, and you like have to push with your foot off of her hip and like lunge forward. She has like starts going sideways a little bit. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
It's at advantage because she's paralyzed.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that what you were trying to
Okay. There's a chance. 17?
17 hits.
Hey, so it's 1d8 lightning damage. Ooh,
Any attack that hits the creature is
It's a melee attack,
hit
right?
If the attacker's within 5 feet.
It's a melee spell attack.
Yep.
That's a critical hit automatically because they're paralyzed. So that's doubling anything on the dice.
So that's 14 points of electric
You can
damage.
tell us how it happened.
So after like
You get 10 points.
really awkwardly climbing over Shanae, it just kind of goes, "This really needs to end." Shanae like closes her eyes, reaches out, grabs, and just electrocutes the thing.
You see Ori as you are right in front of this creature. First, the star in the hip just bursts like glass. Then the one in her chest explodes. And then finally, right in front of you, turning to again try to stop your heart, you see this last star glow brighter and brighter and brighter before the electricity crawls up the creature and that just bursts across your face. There is blood and viscera and this like weird fleshy flesh, but you are alive. And I'm gonna take you guys out of initiative. So well done, Minka. Well done, everybody.
Yeah, once again, Cheshire MVP. Just
Always MVP.
I feel like Cheshire just sits in the sidelines and arranges all the chess pieces so we can just.
Yeah, it's super effective, Talon.
Yeah.
So in this space now, as this creature begins to like kind of float away, you see Minka as you like pull your hand away because now it's just grabbing bone and like charred bits of flesh. Those stars all just burst, just glass, except for the center one. The center one, you see a perfect sphere, and Sade, bleeding badly, lunges forwards and just grabs this. And as she pulls it up, you can see. Make a perception check for anybody who's within 10 feet.
For detail perception?
No. You're not looking for a hidden creature in this glass orb.
Or,
Dirty
clues.
20 for Alina.
Ooh, nice.
30, 20?
25.
25.
17.
Oh,
13.
okay. Every single one of you, except for Ori, with his eye for detail.
Well
Because
done.
I've got the viscera. I just got sprayed with like the exploded bits.
The blood of your companions
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
stuck in your
It's
eye.
mostly just Billy's blood.
That was the thing, right?
Mostly Billy's blood. But as you all look, you can see in Sade's hand, and I would say, excuse me, Minka, you see most of all, especially because it's very directly related to your interests. This globe, probably thousands of tiny, tiny characters in mirror kind of written across the surface. And you'd imagine shining a light through it from certain angles will project information on a surface. But this is so tiny, and as you look at it and peer and kind of turn it, or as she turns it and you look at it, it's like there are levels to this. That tiny writing, the biggest part, and there are like smaller parts as you go in. This is an immaculately crafted glass sphere. You see constellations spread across here and there, labels, names. Like this is a map of the sky. But Sade just takes it and right into her bag. And because it is 10 o'clock, this is where we're going to end for this evening. But you guys survived a very hard encounter.
Yeah.
Taking out the cloaker up at the very top, very helpful.
Oh, yeah.
So awesome work. Thank you for joining us for this session.
Taking out the ally. Not very
Adventures of
helpful.
I think that kind of equalized it.
I don't know. I feel like taking out the ally was less helpful.
I think it was less helpful to Ori in the long term.
Well, I think it. Yeah, like the scale has tipped in not my favor.
Thank you for hanging out with us for this session of Adventures in Alberon, Courts of Everest. We'll be back next week with session 12. But if you can't wait that long, you can join us on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for session 45 of Mosaic Team 5. Matt will not be there. I think we're coming maybe at the end, though.
Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe we'll see Matt at the end.
It's a question mark.
But please stay safe until whenever it is that we see you again. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for following. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.